Those of you, if today is your first day, in the world of marketing, you'll find friends in certain, ecosystems, programs. You share journeys with other people. And Joel is someone I met many years ago, and I share a lot of my journey with him. He's responsible for helping me scale my own agency as well. I was part of his coaching programs back in the day, and my business partners were in there as well. All to tell you, Joel's one of those guys that's going to tell you how it is. Every once in a while, it's a little harsh, but I like the harshness from him because it's the truth of what business is all about, which is why I love Joel so much. He doesn't care about anybody's opinion. He's not a sugarcoater, and that's what I need as a business entrepreneur in life. So Joel, welcome back to day 2. We've got so much to cover. I know there's some experts that are coming from your team as well as strategic partners that you're going to bring in, and we're going to cover. I mean, today is going to be very heavy. We're going to try our best
to do it in 3 hours.
You are, or you're not?
I'm going to try my best.
Okay. Yesterday was 3.5 hours. My gut tells me this is going to be at least 4 hours because the amount of content there is. If you all are all ready for Joel Kaplan, give me a 1 in the streaming comments. Give me a 1 as a thank you, y'all. Please give me a 1 as a thank you.
Yeah, if you guys were here yesterday and enjoyed it, drop a 1 in the Facebook Live. Drop a 1 in the Facebook Live. If you guys were here yesterday with us live. If you weren't here, 2 things. Number 1, it will absolutely be recorded and uploaded to YouTube, but we are only human. We're actually not AI, and this is happening live. So we can't just upload it so fast. It'll probably be live on YouTube in a week or 2. However, if you want to go check out the replay from day 1, it is live inside of the high level Facebook group. So you can go back and find yesterday's live inside of the high level Facebook group. All of this will be recorded. All of the resources we're going to give away at the end, all the snapshots, everything you guys will get for free at the end. You will need a high-level account to access the snapshots. We are doing a crazy promotion, 50% off the first 3 months for new users. But you will need a high-level account to access those snapshots. Besides that, today we're going to be, one more thing. If you didn't watch day 1, I highly recommend you watch it because today is going to be, we're just going to jump right in. We did the big introduction yesterday, shared my story, talked about what the next 3 days are going to look like, the agenda. If you're here on day 2 and you're like, Joel, I didn't watch day 1, stay here, don't leave, keep watching day 2, but afterwards go back and watch day 1. That's really important. You want to have a full understanding of what we're about to cover. So with that in mind, if you guys are ready to jump in for day 2, where we're going to go over how to get clients and break down the entire acquisition process for Instagram DMs, for cold email, and for paid ads. We're literally going to teach you 3 different systems that you can implement immediately that are working right now to get clients. If you guys are ready for that, drop a 1 in the Facebook Live or in the chat. Yep. Show some love. And we got 1,000 of you guys in here today, and I'm excited. So before we dive in, because again, just like yesterday, we're just going to jump right in. It's not going to be strategy. I'm going to show you guys everything. We're going to look over our shoulders and literally take you inside of our ad accounts, inside of our high-level accounts, all of that good stuff, just like we did yesterday. Before we dive in, though, I want to share some warnings around acquisition, okay? I'm going to and by the way, I didn't prepare this. This is me just speaking from the heart here, just some things that I believe will help you guys. Number 1, most of you guys, when it comes to prospecting, are not doing enough. You're just not doing enough. You can't expect to build $1 million business off of 100 cold emails a month. You can't expect to build $1 million business off of a $500 a month advertising budget. Whatever you guys learn today, one of the secrets will be to just do more. A lot of you guys simply aren't doing enough outreach to get the result that you want. What happens is you send out 50 Instagram DMs, or 50 cold emails and you're like, Joel, it didn't work. But you have to keep in mind the level of volume required to take a business off of the ground has to be monumental. It's really a lot. So you guys have to take everything I teach you today and ask yourself, how can I 5x, 10x, 20x the volume? That's the first thing. The second thing, we're going to give you guys the scripts. We're going to give you guys the templates. But one of my favorite sayings in all of entrepreneurship is don't be a copy and paste entrepreneur. I don't want you guys to just copy and paste it and then be like, it didn't work. Because at the end of the day, we're actually giving you all of our proven scripts. But the problem is the more that people use the scripts, the less effective they become. So you have to learn to think, not just do. Learn to think, not just do. So you have to take everything I teach you today and ask yourself, how can I do everything Joel taught me a little bit differently or a little bit better? You have to take the frameworks that I give you and innovate on them. Take the ads, take the cold email script, take the Instagram DM scripts that I give you today and innovate on them. This is entrepreneurship after all. You do get paid based on your ability to innovate and problem solve. So that's the second thing. And then the last thing, prospecting and setting appointments might be one of the hardest things you'll ever do. And this kind of goes back to what I talked about yesterday. It's really hard. Like you're essentially reaching out to businesses to earn their relationship. It's not easy. So just expect it to be hard. And this is kind of the same thing that I was sharing yesterday. Even if you get a script, you're like, Joel, the script is amazing. It's not going to be a magic pill. It's not going to be like, now that you have the script, everything else is irrelevant. You need to get better as an entrepreneur and have the mindset required to use that script and actually win. And that's going to come through a lot of volume, innovating on the frameworks, and just pushing really, really hard. It took me maybe, I'll give you guys 2 quick stories and then we'll jump in. When I first did cold email, I was sending out one by one. I was literally going through, this is when I was reaching out to dentists, just like Paulson. And for like the all-on-4 treatment, full arch restorations, Invisalign, or like all of the different treatments. And I would literally go in one by one, write the cold emails. And I realized, holy crap, this is not scalable. You know, it's taking me a lot of time. It would take me like a whole day to send like 30 to 50 emails. And over time, we figured out a system that allows us to send up to 10,000 emails a day. Not 100, not 500, not 1,000, 10,000. And we're going to teach you guys that exact same system today, by the way. I'm going to give you guys the exact same system to be able to send out thousands of cold emails every single day. But the key thing is it took me a while. It didn't just happen overnight. It took me years. It took me years to figure out how to scale this thing. So it's a process. You guys can't just expect to take what you learned today and just automatically be acquisition machines. The other thing to keep in mind, this is the last quick little lesson I'll teach. If you are doing cold outreach, where you're reaching out to the client and saying, hey, I want your business through things like cold email, Instagram DMs, cold call, that's probably the hardest because they have no intention to do business with you. You are essentially bothering them, interrupting their day and saying, hey, let's work together. The beautiful thing about these methods, though, is that they are free. So anyone can get started. Level 2 is paid ads. With paid acquisition, it's kind of like you're both coming together. You've got the client saying, yeah, I'm interested. And you also have, you're still paying to interrupt their day, but they're choosing to engage with that interruption, right? You're paying for the ad to show up on their feed, interrupt their day of scrolling, and then they choose whether or not they want to click on it. This is level 2 difficulty because now it's a little bit of both. They're coming to you, they're coming to them. They're coming to you and you're going to them. The ultimate form of prospecting is, think about how high level built their entire business. affiliates. It's referrals. That's really what it is. It's word of mouth. You guys just figured out a way to incentivize, and scale it and build an army for it. And I'm actually going to teach you guys how to take the exact same high-level affiliate system and apply it to your agency, but that'll be tomorrow. So we'll go over that tomorrow. That's the ultimate form of prospecting, right? Where just clients are coming to you and you're just like, oh, hey, yeah, well, we can do business together. But that's the one that also requires you guys to have a lot in place, a lot of clients. So today I'm going to teach you cold outreach where you're going to them, and paid ads where it's a little bit of both. They're coming to you, you're going to them. And then over time, as you get more and more clients, you'll reach level 3, the best level, where they're just coming to you. So with that in mind, for today, the very first special guest that I have is probably the best media buyer that I know in the agency space. He has spent millions and millions and millions of dollars on ads for agencies and has generated over 10,000 appointments, which is mind-blowing. He's generated over 10,000 appointments for other agencies. And on top of that, some of his ads have been licensed and are some of the top ads ever in the history of YouTube, for example. So some of the ads he's wrote are some of the most highly spent on ads ever. And he's also one of my best friends. So I'm really excited to bring Isaac Rubel to the Zoom.
Welcome in, Isaac.
He's a legend. He's a legend when it comes to advertising. And on top of that, he gives everything. He's just like me. He gives literally everything away for free. So today we're going to try to show you guys how to do advertising for your own agency in an hour. It's hard. You guys are essentially like that could be an entire course. But if you guys want more, Isaac also gives everything away for free on his YouTube. You guys can always go check that out.
So Isaac, before you get started, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Joel, but before you get started, just so everybody understands, we're going to go over multiple cold strategies today. So ads, Instagram DMs, and multiple.
We're going to do ads is not necessarily cold. I would say it's kind of like lukewarm.
Right.
And then we're going to go over next will be cold email, and last will be Instagram DMs.
So there's 3 big things that we're going to cover in how to create a world of inbound leads. Okay. So stay tuned. This call is going to take a few hours. Go get your lunch, sit back, turn off all your browsers. Don't get distracted because these trainings are worth millions of dollars. I've known Isaac for many years, actually. And Isaac was like one of my guys that I would reach out to when something drastically goes wrong in our ad account. Like we're spending a couple of $100,000 and all of a sudden an ad account goes down. Isaac is like the person I would reach out to in the middle of the night. And he would like literally reach back out and help out, never ask for any money, never ask for anything in exchange. And I also consider Isaac as a good friend in the online space. Joel, thanks for bringing him on. And he's part of your coaching programs, and he's scaled hundreds and hundreds of agencies, and he's kind of the machine behind a lot of the ads for Joel, as well as a lot of his other programs.
All of that, I would say 90, well, I don't know the exact stats, so I don't want to say something that's not the case, but a lot of the agency ads that you guys see on your feed are either written from Isaac, taken from Isaac, or being run by Isaac.
Correct.
Joel said license when we were talking about YouTube. License is a nice way of saying a lot of them would get taken, but yes, a lot of ads originate from stuff I've written. But pleasure to see you again, Paulson. It's been a while since we talked. Nice to see you.
Yeah. Welcome in. What's your story? Just so folks that don't know you have a little bit of a background. Give us a 30-second rundown of how you got started.
Yeah, maybe 30 seconds because we got a lot to cover.
Yeah.
I'll be quick. So brief rundown of me. Basically all I've done since 2014 is run ads. That's basically it. I've worked out a little bit. I've gone outside a couple times. Joe actually keeps like a lock on my door. I'm not like allowed to leave, but like all I've done since 2014 is run ads. A lot of those years were spent running ads specifically for agency owners. So not only do I run a lot of ads, but I run a lot of ads specifically for agencies, and also I've coached God knows how many agencies within Agency Lab on how to run ads. So
Thousands.
yeah, I'm like the closest thing you can get to an AI that's trained on B2B agency ads. Over the years, I pretty much I have most of my clients that I have taken on and actually ran their ads for them. Almost all of them hit 100K months within their first 30 to 60 days. And there's a reason for that. I'm going to teach you guys exactly how I'm doing that in these ad accounts. Paid ads are an expensive way to get clients. They're more expensive than some of the other methods that are probably going to be taught on this call. It is pay to play, but the benefit of it is if you are ready for that type of traffic, if you're ready for that sort of volume, you can scale very, very quickly, especially using some of the templates, overall guidelines I'm going to give you. So with the right methods, you can scale very, very quickly with paid ads. So if you have a sales team ready to go, you have a solid offer ready to go, you have proven systems, you're ready to onboard a bunch of clients, paid ads are really the only way to do it. Also, you might want to get one of these. That's a Steam sauna. The reason for that is like if you get an ad account banned, you hop in that. That's like the emergency, like it just relaxes you, and then you can go back, you can talk to the Facebook rep for like an hour and actually like get it handled.
Is that the $200 one from Amazon that everybody keeps talking about?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God. I have so many people telling me about that.
The new ones like cover your head. I'm like, I don't want my head in the steam. It's weird. But
Well, running ads is stressful, so I totally get it.
yeah. But here, wait, let me pull up some stuff for screen share. Okay, so
Absolutely.
right before we jump into
And
this,
Isaac, there's like, you could be talking about this you could create an entire course on this, and
Yeah.
people are actually going to be getting your TikTok ad agency course. That's one of the courses we're giving away, and your
nice.
YouTube ad agency course. So you guys are going to get 2 courses from Isaac. And if you want even more nitty gritty on this, because we're trying to give you as much as possible, Isaac gives it all away for free. So
And by the way, if you don't have a high level account, you won't be able to get any of that. So just with the workshop, just I don't mean to be salesy, but there is a live offer that's happening that's part of this workshop. If you don't have high level, right now is the time to go sign up so you can grab all the collaterals. There's thousands of dollars worth of collateral, so we're going to be giving on Thursday and potentially maybe even tomorrow. But anyways, that's going to be the last time I pitch, Joel.
All right, cool.
you're all good, man. It's a great offer.
I'll pitch throughout my presentation. I'll make sure we pitch the snapshot a few more times. But yeah, so right before we jump in, the key thing with paid ads is you can't have any element of your ads that's extremely lacking. I get students on calls all the time where like their ads will look good, like, oh, it's like a really cool video, but their offer sucks. So, or like the vice versa, like great offer, but the ad is just like, it was made on like Microsoft Paint, like from like 5 years ago. So like you have to have these key pillars to really get ads to work. But once those are in place, you can absolutely take over markets. The case study I'm about to show you guys and the full breakdown I'm about to show you is from the most saturated agency niche on the planet, chiropractors. And we went into this niche. We were getting $30 meetings for the first few months. We're getting like $60, $70 meetings now. These are long form survey submits. They schedule on the calendar. He scales agency past 100K in the first 30 days. He actually got to like 120K in the first 30 days, and he's well past that now. So
he already had an agency. Just to give you guys some context,
Yeah.
he just was stuck, and then he scaled very fast. But it's not like it wasn't from zero. He already had an agency.
Yeah, he had the systems in place. He was getting good results for his clients. He was doing, I believe he was doing email outreach was his main acquisition. He had a few little paid ads running. But yeah, he was ready to go for the traffic. So I'm going to break it down for you guys. We're just going to go step by step. I'm going to share my screen.
Go for it.
Okay. So the first thing you need to know about paid ads is how to target. This is going to vary from niche to niche. And I'll give you guys a brief rant about what to do in every single niche. But first, I'll show you exactly what to do in Cairo, and then we'll extrapolate that out into every other niche. Because every niche has its own unique targeting that works. Years ago, you could just upload a custom list and be like, good to go. Upload my list of emails and phone numbers. It's going to crush. I can scale it to 1K a day and just really run it up. Can't do that anymore. That only works in a couple niches now. It's actually the minority of niches that works in. So let's jump into this ad set first.
You do CBO?
ABO. Yeah, let me break down settings first. I was going to do interest in settings, but let's just go through settings as we go.
So Isaac, before you go further into the nitty-gritty details, can you give us like a range of cost of acquisition for an agency? Like what is the cost of acquisition that you should actually shoot for from a goal standpoint? And then let's get into the details of how to get there.
It's going to vary from niche to niche. On the cheaper end, I've seen acquisitions as cheap as like 100 to 150. That would be in like car detailing. Other niches, it's going to be more like in Cairo, usually it's going to be a few hundred, like 300, 400, 500 to acquire a client. That's for retainers between like 1,500 and 2,500 monthly retainers. Your retainer price will obviously affect,
That being said, like when I was running ads, I was willing to break even on month one. So if I was getting paid 1,500 from a client, I was willing to spend $1,500 to get one client and actually make zero money, but not lose money either. I was willing to just break even on month one, but now I've earned the client. I have them.
Yeah.
And as long as I can deliver results, I can keep scaling that. So I think like also, Isaac, maybe we could touch on this. Like for paid ad, like the reason we're also teaching you cold email and cold DMs is because if things go wrong, it's not like you lost money. Whereas with paid ads, you do have to be dialed in. Like it does require you to have your sales dialed in. It does require you to be ready to take on a lot of volume. A lot of agencies collapse when they get a lot of appointments and they're not used to that. They're like, I don't know how to call the leads. What should I say? So it's like, it is pay to play. It is more advanced, but it's also what's allowed us to help 109 agencies scale to 100K a month. I'd say 90% of them were through paid ads. So, again, my goal with this 3-day workshop was to teach you guys everything. And then you guys have the power to decide, I'm going to start with cold email, I'll start with cold DM, or I'll start with paid ads.
Yeah. And in terms of the cost per acquisition breaking even, Joel's exactly right. At lower budgets, you guys using these methods, you're probably going to be well below break even. You're probably going to be very profitable even on the front end of acquiring these. But as you scale up, there was times in my agency personally that I would push massive scale on ads, and it would cost more to acquire. We'd be breaking even, but we did acquire a ton of clients in a month, and that's all profit month two, assuming your retention is even somewhat dialed in. If you're breaking even on the front end, guess what? Month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, it's all profit from there. So I don't think you guys will have to break even. These methods are, very few people have things as dialed in as I'm about to show you, but you shouldn't be afraid to break even, especially at scale. It's actually a hack to scale your agency really quickly.
Also, Isaac, can you explain? I want you to just rattle out some niches that you've done this for, AKA all of them.
Oh yeah. I mean, literally any niche you can think of: roofing, dental, Cairo, HVAC, plumbing works too.
Did you do something with insurance, if I can remember?
Yeah. Wait, which insurance?
Like life insurance or one of those insurance?
Yeah, life insurance, you can acquire those guys really cheap. Mortgage, I've done real estate investing as a separate niche.
Agencies,
lawyers,
I've done a ton of lawyers, but I've done immigration lawyers, personal injury lawyers.
So it works, guys.
It
works in pretty much every niche that could be advertised to. If there's like 10 people in your niche, don't run ads. If you're like, I only work with Fortune 500 companies in the healthcare space, and there's like 20 of them, you don't run ads,
Yeah, that's LinkedIn
but if you're,
stuff.
If you're doing any local business niche, you can pretty much, for the most part.
So let's get into
we've literally ran ads for funeral homes, agencies to get them appointments, mattress store agencies to get them appointments, So anyways, yeah, let's break down an entire campaign, Isaac.
Yeah. So let's go through the settings, then we'll go into interest. I like ABO. ABO means ad set budget optimization. CBO is where you set the budget at the campaign level. So you're setting it here and it distributes the budget across all your ad sets. For that has some use cases. B2B is not one of them. ABO, where you set the budget here, is always going to outperform CBO for B2B. Another important setting is this. For B2B, I have a very strong preference for running dynamic creative, and I'll show you exactly what that means here at the ad level. But with dynamic creative, the ads will outperform just making a bunch of individual ads underneath the ad set. So pretty much always have dynamic creative turned on. That automatically rotates through creatives that you feed Facebook and finds winners for you. It's cost-wise, it'll often be similar to other types of methods, but the good thing about dynamic is it's very stable. Like once you find winners with dynamic, they tend to last a lot longer than putting multiple ads underneath an ad set. So you'll get a lot more longevity out of it, which means less testing, which means less budget needed.
So
It's really
ad
beneficial.
fatigue. So it reduces ad fatigue essentially by having multiple
Yeah.
layers of creative. So it'll run on its own essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And for whatever reason, the way it rotates creatives is better than having multiple creatives underneath an ad set. I think when it has multiple creatives underneath an ad set, it like resets itself sometimes, and it's not beneficial. Like it'll just like crash randomly. Whereas with dynamic, it just goes. Like it just goes. Like the only thing that kills a dynamic ad is like true ad fatigue. Like if the market's seen your ad too many times and it's time for new creatives, then dynamics will fatigue. Daily budget. So you want your daily budget for every single ad set to get you at least one meeting per day. That's really the sweet spot. So let's say your niche.
Range in?
What's up?
Or what do meeting costs range in? What would you say is like an estimate?
Generally, most people are going to pay between 40 and like 110, 120 per meeting. Harder niches are going to be on the upper end of that. Easier niches, like if you're doing real estate, let's say you're doing real estate and you're at lower scale, like you're at like 500, 300 to 500 per day, you can get $30 meetings in that niche. But if you're in Cairo or if you're in dental especially, you're going to probably pay 80 plus per meeting. So you have to judge it off your niche, but what you don't want is your budget to be lower than your cost per meeting. It never works as well, and it actually will raise your cost per meeting. It's this weird thing that Facebook does. Budget cheaper than budget spending less than cost per meeting, they raise your cost per meeting. So you get punished for having too low of a budget. So budget has to be at least 1x your cost per
You
meeting.
can't find a person for that budget.
What's up?
Because if the cost per meeting is $60 and you only have 40, then it can't even find a person that day.
Yeah, it'll find a person every other day, and then Facebook's like, you suck, bro. You can't even find a person every day. Like, turn those ads off. So yeah, you have to have adequate budget. Schedule. I don't do any start or end dates. Just run it ongoing. Scheduling stuff with start and end dates generally is not good. Run ads all the time. Never put a schedule on it. That'll always mess you up. Oh, this is important. People often leave out Canada on ads. There's no reason to do this. If you're niched in Canada as well, think about how many agency owners forget to target Canada. Like a lot of them.
What about Australia and like UK and stuff?
The first
Yeah,
world
you
countries.
can do those as well. I've had Cairo agencies that hit the UK and US, and they, you can get cheaper meetings if you're able to hit those countries. You have to work around time zones, obviously, but if you can hit them, absolutely, because the competition in these countries is like, it's like nothing.
Yeah.
There's no competition basically compared to the US, where there's a lot of agencies.
Just to add a few note here, the ads that we went through yesterday is for your client fulfillment. The ads that we're going through right now is for yourself as an agency for client acquisition. Okay. Another thing to pay attention to, these numbers that we're talking about, $120 to $150 meetings, that is not the same thing as the way you would calculate client acquisition costs, because client acquisition costs need to be, considered with the cost of appointment setter, amount of hours spent, costs of show, multiple other variables that we're not talking about. We're simply just talking about essentially a lead cost that is accurate, not instead of just anything and everything.
And I did warn you guys yesterday, like if you guys are starting out brand new, you can always go and check out our 10-day course that we did with High Level. That's more foundational. It's on YouTube, either my channel or High Level's channel. Just literally look up Joel Kaplan High Level 10-day course. For now, we wanted to dive right in and literally get into advanced topics where we show you guys the nitty gritty, which is what I feel is missing in 99% of courses anyways. It's like, okay, show me step by step. So,
Yeah.
all right, keep going.
Yeah. So yeah, all these stats and all these methods are very different from local. Like if you're running ads for your clients, like B2C, these methods won't work. And also these costs are going to be much higher. So you can't, exactly what Paulson said, like you don't want to reference them against each other. Canada, US, other countries, if you can, age 25 plus. I mean, it just depends. You can go a little bit lower with age, but Facebook's really just going to probably, especially for something like chiropractor, it's going to optimize for the higher age ranges anyway. So it doesn't really matter what you do there. Most niches, I just put 25 plus. 65 plus, if it's like a if it's a non like contractor niche, like for example, there's probably not too many 70-year-old roofers, but there's some like 65-year-old chiropractors. Like people do some of these businesses into their older years. So like you can do 65 plus for some medical niches, especially. Okay. So here is the targeting. I'm going to do two things here. First, I'm going to break down what I'm doing for chiropractors. So for this specific client, then I'm going to break down, I'm going to do a quick rant about like what works in what niches. So I'll try to hit most of the big niches for you guys. There's a lot of niches out there, but I'll go off my knowledge base and try to give you guys exactly what targeting you should use. Okay, so this ad set, as you can see, is titled Narrow Interest. Narrow interest includes things like job titles, fields of study, and schools attended. It will also include interest that don't have a ton of reach. You'll notice my estimated audience size is below 1 million here. The other ad set, the broad one, will be bigger because I include a lot of broad reaching interest. What fields of study are, schools attended, and job titles? These are actually what they list on their Facebook profile. So if somebody says like I studied in chiropractic school on their Facebook profile, they will fall under this targetable category. Same thing with job titles, same thing with schools attended. The problem is if you just do those hyper narrow ones, the audience size is often too small. It'll be like 30K, 40K. That'll work for some very low budgets, but Facebook, the way the algorithm works now, and this is subject to change, but it's been like this for a while, they like bigger audiences. They actually want you to target people who are not chiropractors. Why? Don't know, but it works better that way. The way it optimizes is it'll look at your ads, it'll look at who watches the ads, and it'll look at who you're calling out in the ads, and it'll find chiropractors within this larger segment. Some people will be like, I don't believe you. I'm going to go test the 30K audience with just fields of study, job titles, schools attended. It's you'll see fairly quickly what your meeting cost comes out to be. It's not going to be good. So let's go through these fields of study. You can see all these first ones are fields of study. Here's a school attended. The way you know it's a school attended is if it's actually under the school category. Sometimes you'll see a college, but it's not under the school category. That's actually an interest targeting. Yeah, it's actually an interest. So there's two types of schools. But this is a school attended, work. I will include work. Now you'll notice this is an employer category. Why do I include this? Employer, doctor of chiropractic. Doesn't that mean like an employee? Doesn't that mean like someone who's working underneath the doctor of chiropractic? You would think, but the reality is people build their Facebook profiles really fast. When you start a Facebook profile, you just click on shit, kind of. Most people are like, yeah, chiropractic, click, click, click. They will often list themselves as employees of chiropractors, even though they are a chiropractor. So it's important to include these employer categories here.
Isaac, can you speak to the different types of targeting? So like, I know there's different costs associated with like interests versus behaviors versus demographic versus financial actions. Like, can you speak a little bit to that on like what's the cheapest versus the most expensive?
Yeah. So a lot of those don't really apply to B2B too much, like the different
Okay.
financial stuff, the different demographics. The only real categories for B2B are the following: fields of study, schools attended, job titles, schools as interest, and then plain broad interest. Um, the cost, the cost don't really matter because you want to combine them all. Like I would never tell someone just to build an ad set of job titles and fields of study. Um, it's too narrow.
Too narrow,
Yeah,
right?
it's too narrow for most niches. You
Yeah.
kind of have to combine them into like what you're seeing in front of you right now, like this conglomerate, narrower interest ad set where I'm doing all the job titles, all the fields of study, all the schools, and then I'm throwing in a few more broad interests, but still not too broad because like our audience size is still sub 1 million. You want to combine them. And I'll go on a rant after this breakdown on like what to do for each niche. Like for example, like real estate, I don't do job titles at all. There's no like schools attended or fields of study for real estate. Real estate is all interest targeting. And for example, some niches, if you're going into a niche that no one's heard about, and if you're lucky enough to have found one of those that's viable, you can actually use the custom list, the uploading the emails, uploading the phone numbers. That works really well when the niche has never been hit before by ads.
Yeah. Yeah,
We
you got
can't
to
do
do
that.
enough. You all have to do enough research in your industries. The things that we're teaching are principles and pillars that you want to take. Like back when I had my dental agency, I paid like an email data broker to find the data of current residents in dental schools. So then 2 years later, those guys became doctors and practitioners. So then I would literally like if we're in 2023, I would find the data of folks that were residents in 2019 because in 3 years they're tired of the first job they got and they're thinking about starting a new clinic. So then we would just blast them and kind of bring people in. So you have to be creative, kind of do your own research and find the pillars that make sense for you out of the things that we're teaching. Go ahead, Isaac. I don't mean to interrupt you. Just get
No, you're
excited.
good. And that's the same logic I use behind why I target schools attended. Because a lot of people that fall under that category aren't chiropractors yet. Like they're in these schools. But like they see your ads, they graduate, they see your ads again.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I need patients for, this new clinic I've either started or I'm working on. So like similar logic there as well. So everything I've shown you guys so far is very narrow. Job titles. Now, as we get to the end of these interests, we're actually going to start getting broad. So if you look at, wait, where's the reach? It's supposed to show there we go. If you look at me hover over these, look at the size, 6,000, 8,000, very small. It's because it's a job title. As we go into interest, look at the reach. Oh, well,
I see a lot of you guys asking like life insurance, so like real estate. This is where you guys need to think and be entrepreneurs and be like, okay, what interest can I search for relevant to my niche, right? Like we're giving you guys the frameworks. Again, this is me sharing what you guys need to hear, not what you want to hear out of love to help you guys succeed. But if we went niche by niche, we would be here for weeks.
yeah. Yeah.
Another one I would target is like licenses. Like if you're targeting nurses, they have to pass the NCLEX. If you are targeting lawyers, they have to pass the bar. Like there are even more targeting that you can get creative with, just FYI.
Yeah, and that interesting note on that, ChatGPT is actually pretty good at finding unique angles to target from an interest side of things. So one case study for that, there was the auto repair niche. I actually targeted a lot of the brands of the cleaning products that auto repair shops use. And
Interesting. Yeah.
you could find them within the interest target on Facebook, surprisingly. And I mean, I got meetings in that niche like for like $9. Like it was like $9 meetings. It was
Crazy.
um, but so when I'm hovering over these, data's glitching right now, but these are actually very broad. These are like a few 100,000 reach. If I were to remove these, it would cut this reach down by a lot.
Yeah.
So your narrow ad set, this is an ad set I like to use in a lot of niches, is narrow interest. This includes the job titles, fields of study, schools attended, employers, and then throw in a couple broad interests directly related to your niche. You'll notice these interests are directly related to chiro. If you look up these colleges, these are chiropractic dominant universities. Within your narrow interest ad set, you don't want to go broad. So that'll be the next ad set we go into, is going to be the broad one, where it's like, okay, now we're targeting like these very big segments of people. But for your narrow, you want to keep it narrow generally. Let's scroll down. Manual placement. Okay, so this is very important. If you're running videos versus images, you want to have two different placement profiles here. So once you reach this section, if you're just doing images, do Facebook feed and Instagram feed. That's really it. You can test some of the other square image placements here, but I've run a lot of ads. Almost all of the results come from these two. You can test these other ones in the future, but starting off, if you want to spend your money with the highest chance of success, Facebook feed, Instagram feed. Now, if you are running videos, and if you're running videos, quick note, it should be vertical. None of you should be running horizontal videos in 2020. We're going to 2024. All of your video ads all your video ads should basically resemble TikToks. And I'll show you an example video ad here in 1 second. There's almost no reason to run horizontal ads B2B on Facebook anymore. The stories and the reels are too good of placements to just run a horizontal video. You want that vertical format. You can also turn on this. I've recently had a lot of success with this. It didn't used to work as well, but randomly it kind of works. So if you're running videos, you can also turn on this placement.
Yeah. Another thing I want to add here, Isaac, is going back to that placement, if you don't mind. So you all need to step back for a quick second and look at the macro environment of social media. So when TikTok came out, guess what? They're destroying CTRs of all the other platforms. They're getting engagement like crazy. So like all of a sudden, Facebook is going to figure out, how do we compete with TikTok? YouTube is going to try to figure out how to compete with TikTok. So you'll see platforms launching new things, like YouTube recently launched Shorts. Facebook recently launched video-oriented Reels. So like pay attention to the grand scheme of things, of how platforms are competing with each other. And that'll also give you testing ground. So like I remember when Canvas picture ads came out. I remember when story ads first came out. Those are areas that you want to test out, especially if a new feature comes out on a platform, because they're more than likely going to push it because they want to compete and figure it out. And that's if you have extra money, just FYI. Don't go wasting money on new stuff. That's if you have extra few dollars here and there, you want to test it out. Look at the new things a platform is actually launching and drop dollars there. It probably will give you a lot of reach.
Yeah, guys, anything new that gets released, I try to stay on top of running it. I'm literally waiting for Hulu ads to release landing pages as a feature because they don't allow landing pages right now. But like as soon as new stuff is released, you have like almost, to be quite honest, it's almost an entire year where you're like the only one doing it. To my knowledge,
Which is
we
insane.
filmed like I filmed and Joel gave me the idea and we worked on it together to film the first local ads program for TikTok. And we were getting like $1.50 implant lead cost, like
Oh
for
my
a
God.
dentist. Like it was
Insane.
crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And it lasted for like a year. And I mean, it was even after like a year, it was still much cheaper than other platforms. So if you can be early, take the knowledge you learn from, this type of knowledge where you build the foundation. And if you can be early to anything, yeah, do it because it's always really cheap. Okay.
By the way, I want to say one more thing. I don't want to shamelessly plug Isaac, but Isaac does have an entire ads breakdown for other niches as well. I know you guys are asking about other niches. Part of me wants to tell you guys, hey, also take what you're teaching and really think, how can I make this work for myself? Because there's going to be a moment in time that Isaac can't help you. But Isaac also does have a lot of other niches on the internet already covered. So
yeah, if you go to my YouTube channel, there's some very unhinged videos talking about exactly what to do in like at least like 6 niches now. So yeah, you can go over there and check it out. I break down like full B2B and B2C for those industries and offers as well. Okay. So we just covered the narrow interest ad set. Now I'm going to cover broad interest.
by the way, Isaac, we should probably go a little faster.
Okay.
Heads up.
Okay. Broad interest is an exact duplicate of your narrow interest. So narrow interest, hit duplicate, that's your broad. What you're going to do though, is on top of your narrow interest is add a bunch of really broad interest as well. So here I'll find some for you guys that I've put on here. Okay. Health and wellness, medical education, medicine.
So the $1 million, $1 million, the sub-million audiences, those you consider as narrow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
then above 100 million or plus, or maybe 50 million is what you're considering to be broad.
What I'll do is every niche has interest of different sizes. For example, in real estate, almost all the interests are pretty big.
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll look at all the available interest and I'll mark an arbitrary center point. I'll be like 50% of interest fall above this reach, 50% of interest fall below this reach. Let's say it's 500,000. My broad ad set will include all of it. Like it'll include all the more narrow sub 500,000 and all the above 500,000. And my narrow will only include the sub 500,000. So it is arbitrary, but what you're doing is you're giving diversity to Facebook to find winning segments in different types of audiences. Like these both were performers, like 128 meetings, 91 meetings over their lifetime. Like they both, like you can see even the broad, like a lot of people in their intuition, they'd be like, oh, broad is probably
More expensive. Yeah.
yeah, but like
It's cheaper.
yeah, it's cheaper.
You're
So
basically giving the algorithm breathing room.
exactly. And what you want to do when you're trying to, because like you guys are gonna have to brainstorm like what interests match your niche. Here's how I look at it. You have interests that are exactly matching your niche, right? So like some of those schools from the narrow interest. If there's an interest called like, there used to be interests that were actually like chiropractic. They removed
Yeah.
all those, but there actually used to be like narrow interests that were exactly the niche. Those go in narrow. But then when you're thinking about what to do for your broad one, you can kind of go a little bit outside of your niche. So I like to think, here's Chiro. What niches lie immediately outside of Chiro? So like the general medical world, alternative medicine, pain management.
Yeah.
Those are things that they may not be Chiro, but they're close enough And they're close enough that when you build good ads and you let the Facebook algorithm do what it needs to do, it'll find chiropractors within those segments. So yeah. Okay.
And those of you that just joined in, we're talking about client acquisition for your agency through paid ads right now. Keep going, Isaac. Let's move fast.
Yeah. Okay. So next, I'm going to give a brief rundown of what to do in most niches. So in terms of targeting, real estate is all interest. If you're anything in real estate, it's all interest targeting. Even lookalikes don't perform that well in real estate. It's all interest targeting if you're going to be running ads. Mortgage is a combination of interest and lookalikes. Dental is all narrow targeting. It's all narrow targeting, lead forms only, and you have to turn off the reach expander. The reach expander you'll find here, it's only on lead form ads. That's the only way to not get any B2C traffic through dental funnels right now. It's weird. What other niches? Roofing, all interest to start, then you can expand into lookalikes. If you're in any niche that is brand new, like if you're in something weird, if you're in like tripod sales for a local business, tripod sales, whatever, custom list, you'll find work very well, but only in untapped niches.
Custom list means that you scrape. And guys, again, I know this advanced stuff. If you're like, what is going on? We're trying to teach you guys an entire 7-figure business in 3 days. That's what's going on. If you guys want more context, go back and watch the 10-day course. But a custom list means that you scrape. So you grab a database of emails and phone numbers of tripod sales businesses all across the United States, and you can upload that and run ads to that data as a custom audience, as opposed to targeting interests.
And only do that in untapped niches. If
So
you're in a
don't
niche,
do that in dental.
Yeah, if you're a niche, chiro, dental, real estate, mortgage,
The interest targeting is good enough.
Yeah, interest targeting is where you're going to find almost all of your results come from. The vast majority of my campaigns are carefully selected interest targeting, like I've shown you here. You want to narrow and you want to broad. That's a good start. Once you get some data, you can expand it into open targeting, meaning no targeting. Once your pixel learns, you can expand into just open. That often works. You can also expand into lookalikes, but lookalikes are hit or miss. That's why I recommend for most niches, you're going to want to start with just interest targeting. No lookalikes, no custom list, just interest. Once you get it working, once your offer is proven, then expand into lookalikes, then expand into open. But start with the interest for most of you, the vast majority of you. Okay, let's go through the rest fast. Okay, here's
You
the
want to
actual
have,
app.
can you explain the campaign objective, by the way?
Yeah. So for this niche, it's conversion because we're running to a funnel. The actual conversion event, so in this case, schedule, takes place on the thank you page. A lot of people always ask me, like, do I make the conversion count after they become a lead, after they schedule? When do I make it count? You want it to count on the thank you page. You don't want to fire the conversion event on leads. You can try it. I've seen people do it. It sometimes works. It's much more reliable to have it fire on the very final step of the funnel. Beyond that, yeah, it's a conversion campaign, never traffic. You can do lead forms as well. Just be aware there's a quality issue sometimes with lead forms. Also with lead forms, make sure you set it to English only. Lead forms will preferentially target people who speak other languages, who fill out a lot of lead forms. Why that is, don't know, but make sure you select English only if you're doing lead forms. It's very important.
Now, if you're testing for the first time ever, do you recommend starting with lead forms before pushing into conversions or a funnel or landing page or something, or do you not care?
I would start with lead forms. Here's what I'll say. If you're copying someone who's proven, like if you go into a niche and you look at roofing and you're on like an ad spy tool and you're looking at like the top guy and they're all running survey ads, right? Like you look at all the top people in the ads library and they're all running a survey lander. Run a survey lander. You can do it like just logically. If everybody's doing it and they're all currently spending on it, that's the type, it's going to work. It's going to work. Like you don't really have to question if that's going to work. just mimic what they're doing closely. Obviously change the copy, make it look different, but like mimic the structure. If you're unsure or you're very unexperienced with setting up landing pages, then use lead forms, right? Like if there's not a, I'm trying to, the term I want to use is meta, like in video games where there's like the top characters that people pick, but like if there's not a thing that everybody's doing, then use lead forms. But if there's a very reliable, like, hey, everybody in this niche is using survey landers, just use survey landers. It's reliable enough just to look at what other people are doing. Okay.
So
Let's
you
go
want
to
to
the
have
ad
one,
copy.
you want to have one ad set for, you want to have one ad set for the narrow and one for broad, essentially.
Exactly. Yeah. One ad set for your narrow interest, one ad set for your broad. Once you start scaling, you can then test open and lookalikes.
Yep. And don't forget, behind these ads, there are obviously automations and typically built on high level and systems like that. And then there's also tracking. So you're tracking, attributing a certain source. So whether you do Google Ads, TikTok, Facebook, it doesn't matter. You still need to figure out and understand how to track the traffic that is incoming into your business. Isaac, can you, before you go to the next item, can you speak a little bit to the monthly budget that someone should kind of have in their pocket before they can go straight to paid ads for their agency? Or is it more?
Yeah, I would look to spend, if it's a cheaper niche, if it's like a very cheap niche, like if it's like real estate, or if it's a niche that you know for a fact you can get like $30 to $50 meetings, I'd probably budget out $100 per day for paid ads. That'll give you some wiggle room. That'll give you some testing room.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to be safe, $100 per day. If it's more expensive, like if you're going into chiro, if you're going into dental, probably $150, $200 daily is what I budget out. And you'll spend more budget up front testing in the first like 48 to 72 hours. So be prepared to do that. And then you can dial it down into a coasting pace where you can just let things run for a little while without really changing too much.
And Joel, a question for you on this note. At what phase should the agency be at? Should they already have an appointment setter by then? Should they have their own closer? Can they handle all this by themselves? Like, where should they be in the growth stage?
It just depends. Like if you want to get a lot of at-bats and get a lot of reps in, then I think you can, and if you have the budget to play with, then you're essentially investing to accelerate you figuring everything out. As a rule of thumb, I recommend beginners to start with cold email and cold DM. That being said, once you are consistently getting clients through cold email and cold DM, I highly push everyone to transition to paid ads. This is way more scalable.
Yeah. Okay. So these are the ads. These are the ads for this specific campaign. I want to break down a couple key components of this.
And by the way, this campaign is for pay per show. So everything we've been talking about yesterday, again, if you didn't watch day one, you're going to be confused. This is going to be for you don't pay us a single dollar to get started, no retainer, only pay after you get paid through the prepaid patient model. So everything we showed you guys how to do yesterday for your clients, this is where this aligns.
Yep, exactly. And yeah, different niches have different offer requirements. Like chiropractors, you need an advanced offer when you're going into chiros. You can't go into chiros and be like 10 leads guaranteed. It's not like you're going to pay like 500 per meeting. But if you go into a new niche, if it's like something very unusual, you can actually get away with that. I tell people like start at the offer that's most appropriate for where the niche is at saturation wise. So like if it's very saturated, you got to start with something, you got to do something like this. If it's very unsaturated, you can start with something more basic. It just depends. So a couple of key components of this ad. Copywriting is kind of fake for B2B. Like you don't have to be some like extremely advanced copywriter for B2B. People just want to know.
What do you mean by fake?
What? Okay.
Like you don't need to be like a crazy, you can just like state the offer.
Yeah, like you don't need to get on here and use some 20 paragraph storytelling bridge after bridge style like copywriting technique. You'll actually get worse results with that because business owners are busy. Like they're not gonna read 10 paragraphs about the story of Bob the
Mm.
chiropractor who scaled his clinic from, you know, a penny a day to $20 a day, whatever. Like those type of copyright, that stuff works really good for info products. If you're doing info products, hell yeah, like do that type of stuff. But for B2B, you want to be clear with your offer. You want to state it early, and you want to be very concise with your
So
ad copy.
business owners are busy and they're like, what am I going to get? Is this something that I'm interested? Yes or no?
Yeah, no fluff. Like your copywriting should be clean and to the point. That's what I prioritize over everything else. Like when you see this, like when you if you just read this, it instantly, like, you just know what it's about. Like, you know what it's about. No, it's not about leads and appointments. You get this instead. Like it's very, like, within 2 seconds of looking at it, it conveys to you what the offer is and what they're getting. Also the beginning of these, I write them like hooks. I have one in dental right now that says something like, all the years you spent in dental school were a complete waste and you wasted your money. Something like that. Like that's the first line. It's like, what? Like if you're a dentist and CCI, you're like, what the hell? What'd you say to me? So like you want to use the beginning part as like a hook and then bring them into the offer quickly. So first part, hook. Next part, like, state the offer. And this is like very clear. So like in the next 30 days, me and my team will fill your practice with prepaid, financially qualified chiropractic patients. And that's not even the crazy part. So like, what's the crazy part? Like that sounds pretty crazy already. And then we're gonna do this for free. Like in the first 2 lines, we already told them we're gonna fill their practice for free. So you want your copy to be concise, hard hitting, very clear, to the point, direct. That's what works in B2B. The rest of this, there's nothing fancy going on. A check mark section listing benefits. Sometimes I'll have a list of X's that throw stones, like no more tire kickers. Don't turn your, front desk into telemarketers. Don't be afraid to be a little bit like, what's the word?
Disruptive.
Yeah, disruptive. Like don't be afraid to say some things that are a bit crazy, because the thing is, everybody else is so vanilla. Who's seen my ad with Obama on it? Like I don't know, but
So
like,
you released
There's an ad of Isaac saying, like, I mean, he said F Obama, but he wasn't talking about the politics. He was talking about some after school lunch program that took away his favorite snack. So it was
yeah. And it was
it was not a political thing, but it still got everyone like, what is he talking about? He was like, F Obama. He took away my after school snacks program where they gave away like free Reese's Pieces or something.
Joel, you did the same thing to me on this workshop. The ads that you recorded, you were like, AI is dead. SaaS is dead. Marketing is dead. Dude, the amount of people,
crazy hooks. I literally said in the ad, AI is dead. SaaS is dead. Marketing is dead. And it was like, now we're going to give birth to a new model where it combines all three. And then people were like, this guy said AI is dead. But I'm like, did you even listen to the rest of the ad?
Yeah. I mean, I had internal team members reaching out to me. Hey, can you tell Joel to not say SaaS is dead? Because it's not dead. I'm like, yes. That is just disruptive marketing.
Yeah. I'll give a shout out. One of the guys that I look up to, a lot of people ask me, like, who do you study? I actually really like Sabri Subi's ads. And then the Harmon brothers, like those two companies, like produce really interesting ads. Like there's an ad where Sabri Subi is in a church and he's praying, and there's like Mark Zuckerberg, on the, at the top of the church, on the altar, and there's Elon Musk and there's Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. I think the
And then
point that everybody should really get from this conversation that we just briefly had is pick a tone, pick an angle, pick a perspective, even if it's disruptive. Some people do motivational, inspirational lifestyle stuff. Some people do, oh, I'm the good guy, everybody else is bad. Like there's like, certain angles. So you should develop a voice even within your ad. So then people are looking forward to
but you
your
do have to be
opinion.
creative. I think what Isaac is trying to say is you can't stand out in today's world without being creative in some way, shape, or form. Like you got to be like Isaac had me take simple stuff too. It doesn't have to be crazy or expensive. Like Isaac had me go to Dunkin' Donuts and buy jelly filled donuts and squeeze them every time I would say something on the ad. So I'd be like, but you know how that goes. Leads that never pick up. Your front desk gets turned into telemarketers. The patients who do come in are all tire kickers and broke. And then every time I'm saying that line, I'm squeezing a donut, right? So it's just getting creative with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like here's the thing. Like if you guys go right now and you just rip this, like if you just rip this and you rip the video out I'm about to show you, it's not going to work for you because it's not new anymore. Like
Yeah.
this isn't new to Kairos anymore. You have to come up with new stuff, and it doesn't have to be advanced stuff. Like just do a brainstorm session, like once or twice a week. Brainstorm some interesting ideas. Go on TikTok, look at some interesting hooks, like some organic creators are using. Like if you take the jelly donut thing that Joel just said, where we're squishing jelly donuts is the hook, and you use that in Cairo, that's gonna crush. Like it's gonna crush.
Especially if you do it at a chiropractic office, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if you were at a dental office, sitting on a dental chair, even eating a donut in between each sentence. That's going to stand out immediately.
Yeah, because they've never seen somebody squish jelly donuts on camera before. Like no chiropractor's ever seen that. Like, what the hell is this? So like, by that you will stand out from everybody else. Yeah, like I have one. I'm gonna like use this soon. Like eating like glass bottles is the hook. Like there's like edible glass bottles, like in the Grinch movie. Where you just take a bite of them. Like that's one. So like, just come up with new stuff. Basically, is the idea. What's headline. One last quick note on this. Headlines. Your headline should state your offer. You wouldn't believe the amount of times somebody doesn't have their offer stated on their headlines, and also their offer isn't stated on their imagery. And like, bro, you have a really strong offer. Put it on everything. So like, when you have a strong offer, like get chiropractors with $0 up front. Pay per patient for chiropractors. Only pay us after patients pay you. Like, just take your offer, reword it 4 times. Those are your headlines. Also, I like using emojis in headlines. That's a secret. Most people don't know you can actually use emojis in Facebook ad headlines, but you can. But yeah, headlines that state the offer very clearly, direct to the point. This is the ads, like nothing fancy. Okay, let's jump into. Let me play this for 2 seconds. Let me know if you guys can hear my audio or the actual computer audio.
Yeah, it's very subtle, but we can
Okay,
hear.
let me turn it up. Let me turn up my.
So you said you like your videos similar to TikTok formats. Why is that?
Exactly. So there's this weird phenomenon going on right now. Facebook ads that look like organic TikToks crush. TikTok ads that look like TikToks don't actually work as good anymore. You want your TikToks, like if you're running TikTok ads, you want them looking more like ads, and you want your Facebook ads to look more like organic TikTok.
And that's the trend you're seeing.
Yes. Yeah. Because I'll break down quickly why. If you make a video that looks like a TikTok and you try running it on TikTok, it's not as entertaining as the other TikToks on there anymore. TikTok has become so entertaining that when people see your video, unless if it's really good, they're like, this is just a crappy TikTok, and they'll just skip right past it.
It's too saturated for their engagement.
Yeah. So for TikTok, you actually kind of want to convey that it's an ad, like hit them very early with the offer, very hard hitting stuff. They should kind of know it's an ad. With Facebook, on the other hand, stuff that feels, I mean, you can even get more organic feeling than this. Like this still is kind of an ad. You can even make it feel really organic. A lot of people have been starting off Facebook ads with organic clips from TikToks. Like they'll just rip organic clips from TikToks for the first 5 seconds, and then they'll go on a rant about what they saw in that. And that's an ad on Facebook. So like your Facebook should look more like organic TikTok as much as possible for your videos, at least.
It's very interesting. Yeah, let's play it. Let's see what this looks like.
Chiropractors, stop adjusting. Seriously, stop adjusting your patients and start adjusting your marketing. In the next 90 days, me and my team are going to come into your practice and generate you highly qualified decompression, knee pain, and neuropathy-based patients for free. Here's how it works. Our team will come in, handle all of the leads, generate all of the ads, and then run all of them through our patient care coordinator team and call center, and only place the most financially qualified patients on your calendar. Plus, we handle all of the follow-up so you don't have to worry about no-shows. Now, here's the crazy part. We do all of this for free. You only pay us when the patient shows up, has their consultation, and actually commits to a care plan. There is zero upfront retainer for a bunch of leads that all these other agencies will give you. You know, we're the best, and we want to prove it to you. Click the Learn More button.
Okay, so there's a few important elements on this. First of all, you'll notice it's basically this. Like the script for the video is basically this with some joining phrases to make it make sense, if, you know, reading it out loud. Your video script and your body copy script can almost be identical. So I just saved you guys some writing. You'll also notice this is divided into 2 sections. I'll play it without audio. Here's the first section, the hook, and then we're going to go into the body.
The offer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the rest of this ad is the body of the ad. The beginning 5 seconds were the hook. You actually don't need to build a ton of body ads. I've had some niches that are on the same body of the ad they started on 6 months ago. The body doesn't really saturate too much. It's the hooks that saturate. And it's also the hooks that you have the most leverage to get cheaper cost. So like, write a good body for your ad, film it once, get it edited, but film multiple hooks. You know, that client I talked about who's been using the same body for his ad for 6 months, he's probably like 30, 40 hooks deep. So like, the way you keep ads fresh is by filming new hooks and filming more and more interesting hooks as well. The crazier, the better. And also your hooks don't exactly have to make sense. Like the hook where I'm talking about like, hey, Obama ruined my school lunches. I can no longer buy pop out of the pop machine. That was for like basically a software. That was an ad for a software. No real connection between the hook and the video. But the hook was just so entertaining that it works. So most of your leverage comes from scripting and filming new and interesting hooks. As far as the editing style, you can get editors on Upwork that'll edit. I mean, this is like roughly like Hormozy style, like his old style of editing. You can get editors off of Upwork that are very good at this style of editing. There's
We
a
pay
video on
like
my
25 to 50 bucks a video.
Yeah. There's a video on my channel. It's called like it has the word $3 in the title. It's within the first 3 to 4 recent YouTube videos I've made. It goes over my exact hiring process of how to get editors off of Upwork for videos like this. So you guys can go check that out as well.
And I think is your process very similar for other platforms outside of Facebook? I know we talked a lot about Facebook today, but is this the same principles you apply for YouTube, TikTok, Hulu, Netflix, Bing, Vista, like LinkedIn, whatever?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for B2B, there's not a lot of platforms that can really support heavy B2B campaigns. Facebook and TikTok are really the only ones you guys are going to be interested in using. YouTube has some use for B2B, but it's very niche dependent. You can really only do it in real estate, solar, and roofing, kind of mortgage.
Yeah.
But your guys' main platforms are going to be TikTok and Facebook. And yes, the same rules apply to all of them.
Yeah, like LinkedIn is really good with white collar professions like accountants,
Yes.
CPAs, lawyers. But anything outside of that is probably useless.
Yeah, LinkedIn has some very specific use cases that you can use it for. You have to be careful with LinkedIn because sometimes like your niche will be on there, but only if you want to spend $20 a day. Like if you want to scale beyond that, there's just not enough of the niche. But like you said, there are some niches where there is a heavy presence on there that you can build some real campaigns in. Some people have scaled some very big LinkedIn campaigns.
Cool.
But yeah, LinkedIn, especially like if you take just wild creatives like this, like when's the last time you saw an ad like this on LinkedIn? It's like never. So like you bring creatives of this caliber over to LinkedIn, you're gonna crush. Assuming your niche is on there.
Yeah, and they're trying to compete with platforms like TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, where video is like a big thing everywhere else but LinkedIn. So if you do video, might work better because they need to figure out a way to compete. So
Exactly.
keep going. Yeah.
Cool. So we covered targeting, we covered the structure of the campaigns, we covered the ad copy, we covered the video ad itself. What's left is the lander. So this is going to be in the snapshot you guys receive.
And now you're inside high level, by the way, for those of you even on high level.
What is this beautiful software? Have you seen it before?
I think it's high level. I think high level.
Is it go high level or high level? I'm tired of that question.
Well,
that's the big question.
I didn't know this until like 2 weeks ago, by the way. And I saw it somewhere. They're like, it's not go high level. I'm like, shit. I've been saying it wrong for like 2 years. No one corrected me.
Yeah.
Can
you do a quick overview? Can you do a quick overview
Paulson, of Paulson, you, Sean, Robin, you guys are so like genuine. Like you're not gonna be like, Joel, you're wrong.
Yeah, call us whatever you want. Our focus is to get your revenue. That's it. Period.
What's on the LLC name? We need to look it up.
It is incorporated in the US. We have multiple incorporations in almost every country now. But either way, what are we looking at on the funnel builder here, Isaac? Can you kind of break down the format, the structure?
Yeah. So this is the landing page. The rest of these I just left in there for you guys because everybody needs a privacy policy. So feel free to repurpose those. I just left those in there as a bonus. This is the landing page. I'm going to open this up and edit it real quick.
By the way, high level is slow when you're on Zoom streaming, just FYI. It's actually pretty fast in regular use.
Yeah, you guys will probably see it much slower today for me than usual. It's usually really fast. Okay. So my philosophy with landers for B2B is it's the same thing as my ad copy. Keep it really basic, keep it to the point, and let them know exactly what they're getting and make it easy for them to schedule. If you make a lander and you tell them exactly what they're getting and you make it easy for them to schedule, it's going to work. Now let me break this down. This is my most popular way I structure landers for B2B. Headline, stating the offer. Only pay us after patients pay you. Subheadline, detailing the offer. We send you prepaid financially qualified chiro patients. You pay us after they buy care plans. If they're not interested after reading that headline and subheadline, they're probably not a good fit for what we're selling. There's like, or they like can't read or something. Like there's no ambiguity here as to what is being sold. You wouldn't believe the amount of landing pages that when I open them, I don't immediately know what it's about. I'm like, what are they saying? Like, what are you saying, bro? Like,
you know what's crazy? I always notice this with agencies. I think agencies are the worst in complicating themselves because they'll have a different message in the copy of the ads, then a different message on the thank you page of that initial lander, and then they have a different message in the post processing. It's like there's like 3 different songs being sang at the same time while it should all just be the same exact song.
Yeah, and like they'll get too philosophical with it. They'll have like a headline that's like, "What if you could get more chiro patients?" I'm like, bro, just tell them you're gonna give them patients after they pay. Like, don't make them wonder. Like, they don't need to be wondering about anything. Be very direct, very direct, very clear, very simple, and keep your messaging, like Paulson said, in alignment. Like from your ads to your video to your lander, it should all be one core offer that you're hitting across all 3. Okay. Then this is basically
question. How ugly does it matter if it's ugly?
Make it as ugly as possible. The uglier the better. No, I mean like what I tell people is like
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like what I tell people is like, I'm gonna build you something ugly if you want to get an actual good funnel designer to like make it pretty in the future, you can do it. But sad to say, guys, it doesn't really affect conversion rate that much. Like my ugly funnels, funny story real quick. I'll go on a 10-second tangent. I had a client, he spends 17K per day on ads. He runs a lot of internet programs across the East Coast of the United States. And I built him the ugliest survey lander you could think of. Absolutely ugly. It's uglier than this even. And he had ran it for like 2 years, and he paid a CRO to come in, and he paid them like 10K to come in and build him a lander that would outperform. And not they used all these different platforms. They used Unbounce. They used all these different things they were testing, and not a single lander outperformed.
High level though.
No, my lander, my survey lander.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I don't know if y'all know this. High level
Paulson, you hear
on
that?
stat. I know. I assumed that was gonna happen, but high level has, if not
But
the
they also try to
fastest
make it pretty,
lander.
right? Isaac, they try to make it pretty.
Yeah.
What's up?
Did they also try to make it pretty?
Oh, they made it so pretty. They made it so pretty. It didn't work.
So the idea of funnel hacking, you guys, like while it's a good concept, when it comes to practicality, the only thing that really matters is the strength of the offer and the speed of how you push traffic. So like if you don't know, nobody else will tell you this, but High Level has the fastest landing pages on the planet. We have it with data, Google backing us up, Amazon backing us up. I can show you stats on it. We can test whatever you want to test, and I can prove you that we have the fastest landers and sites. You just have to make sure you construct it a certain way. The drop off comes from when you push traffic from one step to another, and obviously you don't want anything slow. So like, you know, if you throw a video in there, it's gonna be slow. There's no need for a video. But go ahead,
They
Isaac.
just want to know that it's the same thing. What you want is messaging congruency. You want it to be very similar to what's in the ad. It's like, okay, yeah, this is what I want, and make it easy for people to sign up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, High Level, the way the landers work, they align with my personal philosophy of making things really fast and easy for the person. Like page load, this was years ago in Agency Lab. We used to have the booking page. We had like 30 videos, testimonials embedded beneath the calendar on the booking page. This was on ClickFunnels actually. And we saw this huge fall off on the booking page. And we were like, I just had an idea one day. I was like, what if we just delete all the testimonials beneath the calendar on this page and see what it does? And it literally basically doubled our booking rate on that page, just making it load faster. So like people didn't care about all those videos. They just wanted to schedule, and the calendar wasn't loading fast enough for them. So like if your messaging is clear, if everything loads fast, if they know exactly what they're getting, and you make it easy for them to go through the funnel, like if you could send my grandma to this page, she'll schedule an appointment. Like you can't mess this up. Like if you're interested in this, we can mess up.
You have to pass the grandma test.
Yeah.
The grandma test. Throw a little shadow in there, and that's all you need. And move on.
Yeah.
But look, if you guys want to take a basic structure and make it prettier, like the font, there's plenty of people in the High Level community that can redesign this for you.
Oh yeah.
I would not overcomplicate it though. I would not add more elements. I would take the elements that exist and make them prettier. That's the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Do not complicate the funnel, the lander. Take it and then get a High Level designer to make it more beautiful.
Yeah.
The color, the font, etc.
Yeah, I've realized that, guys, the temptation to add like a bunch of testimonials to like a landing page. My preference right now, and it hasn't for the past year, I load the testimonials on the back end. Like I want them to see testimonials on the thank you page. That's where I think I'm going to get them to watch them, where it's not going to hurt my conversion rate. And also I'm going to send it out in text sequences, text and emails. Like that's where I prefer to put, if I have anything extra, I want them to view. I don't want it hurting my conversion rate too much. So I'm going to push it on the back end after they've scheduled their appointment. I want to get that schedule while their intent is high, and then teach them more. Okay. This next section is basically like an FAQ.
Wait, can I answer something, Isaac?
Yeah.
Real quick. Someone asked, how do you know what is the piece that was working? Was it the offer, the design, the copy? My 80-20 for all of this is, and let me know what you think, Isaac. The offer is king, which we went over yesterday. We're literally giving you guys the offer. Offer is the 80-20. You need to have a good offer. Like, do you have something that people want? If you said, hey, pay me $1 million and I'll get you one patient, do people not, they're not going to want that. They're going to be like, okay, screw off. You're not going to, you could have the most beautiful lander, the best copy in the world, still not going to work. So offer, then creative. Can you stand out in the ad? That's like the actual video. Can you stand out? That's number 2. Can you stand out to get people's attention, to get them to take in your offer? That's number 2. And then number 3 is everything after that. The copy, the lander, all that good stuff. But like the 80-20 really is offer and the creative. Do you have something people want? And then are you grabbing people's attention to get them to consume that thing and be aware of that thing that you're offering?
Exactly. Yep. Offering creative is 80-20. The rest, you just have to not mess it up. Like the way I view funnels, and you guys have probably seen this trend. Like go look in like a spy tool. Look at any of the top funnels that people are running right now. The trend over the years has been to shorter and simpler funnels. The more steps you can remove, the simpler you can make it, the better it's going to work. And I mean, who knows the exact reasons why that's the case, but it doesn't matter. That's the trend. That's what works. So like get your creative in place, get your offer in place, and then the rest, just copy proven stuff. Like just copy the proven structures. Like there's no reason to like overcomplicate the rest. It can be very simple. This section, highlight main big bullet points, FAQs. If there's any like major like kickback like you get on sales calls that like you think should be addressed on the front end, you could do it in one of these columns. But I basically this is just a highlight reel of other benefits of the service. Like Kairos hate
By the way,
handling
Isaac,
the leads.
sorry to cut you off. We got like 10 minutes.
That's a good. All that's left is the thank you page. So
Okay.
Is this helpful, y'all? Give me a 1 in the streaming if this is helpful. Like, I mean, nobody's gonna sit and show you the back end of how they build massive businesses. Like, we're doing this all for free.
And I said yesterday, I warned you guys, it will feel overwhelming. So if you're like, whoa, that was a lot of info, very, very fast. I warned you guys, you're asking us to show you the back end of $1 million business 3 days, and we're making it happen. And it will also be overwhelming, and that's okay. That means that you guys are growing. So if you guys are loving the value, as Paulson said, drop a 1 in the chat, show some love. And if you're overwhelmed, good. That means that you're growing. That means that your brain is getting expanded. And you guys can always go back and rewatch this. So,
yeah. Last thing, button at the bottom that brings them back up to the top here, because it has to pass a grand mal test. If they get to the bottom, they don't know where they are. Click the button, brings them back up to the top.
Yeah.
Okay. Last thing on this page, if you want cheap appointments, put a calendar here. Just embed the calendar on the landing page. If you want to qualify them a little bit more, put a survey, and then the survey redirects to the calendar. Yeah, that's it. It just depends on what you're looking for. Some niches it matters, some niches it doesn't.
Now, real quick, your agency don't need a fancy website, but you do need an offer page that makes sense so you can run ads. Like your offer has to make sense.
but with high level, you also have a lot of website templates. A lot of people are like, do I need a website? I mean, you could also just build one in an hour, really. Just have like on high level. It should not take you that long.
Yeah, you can go to Marketplace.
I would not spend more than a day.
You can go to Marketplace and just download a free website or funnel template, slap your agency logo, and just put some generic information and move forward. Like you shouldn't spend more than an hour building a website for your agency.
Yep. And yeah, all the templates actually look good. They don't look like stuff that I built. So you can actually get something ready for the main website. Okay. One second. I got to move the Zoom navigation. So beyond this, after the landing page, if you embedded the calendar on the landing page, like I said, they'll just go straight to the thank you page. If you use a survey, you will need a calendar page like this. The only thing that I do on the calendar page is restate the offer, and then embed the calendar. Like this is for one of his different offers. I actually chose one of his prettier booking pages to give you guys, but it's the exact same as the one that we're running, just different offer. Restate offer, calendar. Like that's it. That's where if you use the survey on the lander, just redirects them to this page. Then this page post calendar redirects them to the thank you page. Pull that up.
And can you briefly, like 30 seconds, just run over what a pixel is? So I know you have those things installed, and can you just share the benefits of that?
Yeah, exactly. So what the Facebook pixel is it's basically, it feeds data back into Facebook. So like if you want Facebook to find more people that hit your thank you page, the way you tell Facebook that is by pixeling this page. So what you'll do is you'll put the pixel on the thank you page. You can find on my channel, there's tutorial on pixel installation. But then you put the conversion on the thank you page. The pixel is how Facebook interacts with your funnel. So if you want Facebook to find, which you do, if you're running conversion ads, you do. If you want Facebook to find more people that convert through your funnel, you want to pixel the thank you page with a conversion event. So it feeds that data back through so that it finds more people like the ones that converted and get you cheaper meeting costs. Open this up. Okay. The thank you page is where you want to teach your audience more about you. Again, people try to do this too much on the front end.
Pre-call. We also call it the pre-call page.
Yes.
This is where we overload them with essentially testimonials. Frequently, here's my big three that I like to cover. A mini video going over everything that they need to know before the call. So that first video. So like a 5-minute video going over, hey, here's everything you need to know before the call. Then testimonials, and number 3, frequently asked questions.
Yeah.
That's the 80-20 of it.
Yeah.
This is where you can make it really long and add social proof and add like, we even on some of our thank you pages, we even link out to our YouTube channels. Like this is where you can add as much as you want to like warm up the lead.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, like your onboarding process, you're still in sales. Like you're still having to sell them of who you are, what you bring to the table, even on an onboarding call. Just because you got the revenue or the transaction completed does not mean they're stabilized in your business just yet. So continuously sell with the right amount of content and context that you're providing for the experience.
Yeah, this is where you educate the prospect. People try to do it too much on the front end. They're like, some people like there's exceptions, but like if I see somebody saying their company name too much in an ad, I'm like, oh God, they're doing too much on the front end. You want to save most of the education for the back end, the thank you page, because the front end is to get them in, it's to get them to click, get that very valuable attention that's so hard to get these days. With strong offers, strong ads, short funnel. The back end, this is where you have your opportunity to educate. So all those resources Joel just mentioned, all those are very good. Put them on here. This is what you want them to see before your meeting in order to warm them up, to make them easier to close. Beyond that, this is it. Like this is a B2B funnel. This is a B2B funnel. This is what I've used to scale multiple agencies to over 100K per month within 30-day timeframes, assuming they have the systems for it. This is what, if you want to scale quick and you have the budget for it, this is the fastest way to do it in my experience.
And if you guys want to see other ad examples, other niche examples, again, Isaac not only has it on his YouTube channel, but if you guys stay till the end of day 4, we're also going to give away 3 of Isaac's courses for TikTok and YouTube, breaking this down. But if you guys want to see like examples for like real estate, examples for like solar, mortgage, he has them on his channel as well. But that's it. That's paid ads. Can we drop a 1 in the chat for Isaac? Show him a lot of love.
And by the way, stay on the call. We're about to go into the next pillar.
Yes,
we're not done with the call. Just we got another.
Well, Isaac, if you need a little break,
go.
you can.
Yeah.
Isaac, if you can, you don't have to learn the cold email stuff, but everyone else, you have to stay on. We're about to teach you guys cold email next and cold DMs. Isaac, that was absolutely amazing. 10 out of 10. He literally showed you guys how to build a campaign, how to do the targeting, how to do targeting in different niches. how to do the creatives, the videos, how to write the copy. He showed you guys how to set up the lander on high level. He showed you guys all the different steps in the funnel inside of high level. And again, these aren't some theoretical ideas. This is a campaign he's running right now that is crushing in one of the most competitive niches on the planet. So it is literally working right now, and we just gave it away for free. So Isaac, you're the best. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Guys,
man.
if you haven't, go subscribe to his YouTube channel, show him some love. Drop
What's
a one in the
your
chat for
YouTube
Isaac.
channel handle, Isaac? What's the
Let me
actual?
let me grab it for you guys. And yeah, thanks
post-
guys for
I would
tuning
just
into
look
that.
up Isaac Rubel, honestly. That's probably the easiest.
There's only me, and then there's like a wrestler named Isaac Rubel, and he's actually gaining like way too much traction. I actually like need to have a talk with him because I don't know how he shows up instead of me. So I'm like, bro, like chill.
There's actually a
Wrestling.
Paulson Thomas in India who's like a break dancer. Like he's same thing, gaining a lot of
I
traction.
don't know. Maybe that's you. Maybe that's your backup account.
Stop it,
you know?
guys. Stop it. Okay, let's move to the next item. Isaac, good seeing you, brother. Appreciate you.
Nice seeing you guys. I'll let Christian take over on the cold email stuff. I'll see you guys later.
All right, cool.
Thank you,
All right,
Isaac. So
give
we
us a
got
one
paid
in the
ads.
chat. Give us a one in the comments in the streaming if that was helpful. You learned a lot out of it. I just want to get some good feedback of post in the Facebook streaming, please, not in the Zoom. But Joel, what we got next? We got more to cover. We're not even
Okay.
halfway.
We got, well, we're gonna move fast. I'm gonna see if we can do 45 minutes for each one of these next two,
Okay,
because we gotta
awesome.
go.
We gotta go.
Paulson, you and I have to work on just letting them rip and keeping them on track.
I know.
Let's
I get
make
excited.
that our job. Me too.
Yeah, we need to shut up.
Let's
Let
just-
them talk.
we need to we do, and we need to just keep them on track. So for this next guest speaker, guys, this is the guy who actually figured out how to go from 500 emails a day all the way to 10,000 emails per day. So he was in my program, in my in agency lab, and he was crushing it. And I hopped on a call with him, and he was showing me his systems for scaling cold email, and I was blown away. I had never seen anything like it. It was unbelievable. And as time went on, we actually became strategic partners where we collaborate. So he is one of the coaches inside of our program. He also has his own agency for agencies for cold outreach. So for things like cold email. And he literally does this as a service, and he's going to be giving it all the way. So this goes to show you the level of character that this guy has. He's literally giving his business away, and he's going to teach you guys right now how to scale to thousands of cold emails per day. He's going to be giving away the scripts. He's literally going to be giving away everything. Let's give a very warm welcome to Christian Eshu. I don't ever know how to pronounce your last name, by the way, but
You're
Christian,
the only one who gets it right, bro.
Eshu, it's French, right?
Issue. No, it's Arabic, but like you got it right, bro. You
I
got
thought
it
it was
right.
French, no?
I speak French, but it's not a French name by default.
Okay, okay, that's where it threw me off. I'm like, don't you speak fluent French?
Yeah, I do. So I'll do this whole presentation in French. No, I'm just kidding. Guys, I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
you should.
super fast. I'm literally gonna go super fast, dude,
Yo,
because I
Christian,
know we
please,
don't have too much time.
I want you to break our minds. Break our minds, okay?
ChatGPT level. They call me ChatGPT. Literally, some people call me that because I speak fast. All right, let's do it. Guys, I got a couple slides ready, very similar to Joel's slides from the other day. So again, I'm going to speak very fast. And what I'm going to be focusing on today is the 80-20 of cold email. To be more specific,
Can you
have this table of
actually,
contents.
I'm sorry, Christian, can you go ahead and full screen that so it drop down on slideshow? And yeah, thank you
100%.
so
Nice.
much. Thank you so much.
One quick second. There you go. So guys, I'm going to show you guys how to send 20, and you can send more like Joel said. I was once sending 10,000, actually 15,000 a day, which was pretty crazy. I'll show you guys how to set up the system to send out the cold emails, which we currently set up for ourselves and our clients. It's working today. How to scrape a list, because you need an email list to send out emails to. I'll give you guys the paper show cold email script that we are using right now to get our clients from as little as 20 meetings a month to as high as 90, I believe it was 92 meetings a month with the same system for agencies just like you. And then the stats you need to measure. So what are the KPIs I need to hit to actually know that I'm getting good results? So let's start talking about how to set up the system. I'll show you guys how to buy and set up domains, and I'll explain what that means in a second for those who don't know anything about cold email. How to set up email accounts and how to warm up the accounts. And then a couple of bonuses that are like good to have, but not need. You don't necessarily need them, but they're useful. Now, let me quickly explain for those who don't know anything about cold email, like in 2 slides, how does it work? So the way cold email works, there's a lot of ways to do it, but how it's currently being done by us is you first buy domains like bdbscale.com, hsli.com, highlevel.com, but you never use your main domain. And I want to start by saying that, guys, if you're going to do cold email, don't use your main domain. I would not use bdbscale.io for cold email. That would be dangerous because I'll talk about why later, but you want to buy separate ones just for cold email. You then create email accounts using those domains. Christian at bdbscale.com, Joel at hsli.com, Paulson at highlevel.com. You then warm up those email accounts using a cold email tool, which I will show you guys in a second, to make sure that they don't get disabled. And then once they're warmed up, you can start sending out cold emails from those accounts. So I'll show you guys all those steps. And before we start, I do want you all to know how much the investment is for cold email, because you're going to buy some domains, you're going to buy the accounts. It's very, 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 very cheap compared to paid ads, which we just talked about. But it is a couple $100 a month, depending on how many you want to send. So we use Google for accounts. It's $7.20 per month per account, and the domains are $12 per year. A lot of you guys know, what a domain is, how to buy them. And a lot of you guys are already setting up email accounts with Google. So that's pretty straightforward. All right, let's start talking about buying and setting up domains, guys. So first, I don't know when, Paulson, Joel, when they're going to get these slides, but I gave you guys a sheet, which I'll show you here in a second. A sheet like this that we use internally.
They'll get it at the end of day 4. We're going to be giving away every single resource. Perfect.
So I'll give you guys the sheet, which my team uses to set up the systems. So it's exactly what we use, and it just makes it way easier to track everything. So that's in here. But with that in mind, we're going to be setting up the system, guys, using GoDaddy domains and Google Workspace. So let me quickly explain what I mean. I said that you first buy domains like bdbscale.com, highlevel.com, etc. And then you set up email accounts from those domains, like Christian at bdbscale.com. GoDaddy is where we're going to buy the domains, and Google Workspace is where we're going to set them up. There are cheaper, because some of you guys might be thinking, like, can I use Namecheap? Can I use Outlook? Can I use this? There are cheaper places to get domains, and there are cheaper domains that you can buy. Like instead of .com, you can get .xyz, but these can lead to lower deliverability. And whenever you guys hear me say deliverability when it comes to cold email, I mean that when I send out an email, a cold email, if it gets delivered, it means that it landed in the prospect's inbox and they are seeing it. If it doesn't get delivered, it might go to spam, it might bounce, it might go to promotions. So that's what I mean. So we want to make sure that our deliverability is high so that people actually see the cold emails that you send out, which is why we use GoDaddy and Google Workspace. They're very trustworthy. When we buy domains from GoDaddy, we're going to buy .com domains. Like I was saying, you can buy for $1 a year, .live, .xyz, .shop, .online, but they are not as trusted and they can cause, again, lower deliverability. Not only that, but they can lead to your accounts getting blocked. I've had that happen when I tested it out myself. So always buy .com, which again is $12 a year. These are trusted as well. I just don't personally use them myself, but I've heard that they can be used as well. So just stick to .com just in case. And once we buy all the domains, we're going to add them. And I'm going to show this to you guys, like Joel said. I'm going to literally show you guys every step today. You're going to know exactly what to do. You're then going to add them to the Google Workspace admin console. So I'll show you guys what that is in a second. We're then going to go through these steps, activate Gmail, set up what we call SPF, set up what we call DKIM, which is also called DKIM, and set up what we call DMARC. These are, a bit technical, but pretty easy once you know how to do them. We set them up to, again, increase deliverability. If they are not set up, your emails are more likely to go to spam. It's not going to go as well for you. We also want to set them up in this exact order. SPF first, then DKIM, then DMARC. And I'll show you guys how to do that. And we want to always use a tool called MX Toolbox to make sure that they're set up properly. So with that in mind, let me actually show you guys how to set these up. So I've got them ready here. I've got these 3 domains that we've already bought beforehand, and I know they're .xyz. And I said to buy .com. They're just test domains, so I can show you guys how to do it. But again, stick to .com. So what you do first, right, is you go to a website like GoDaddy. That's pretty straightforward. I'm sure a lot of you guys know how to buy domains. You buy the domain. So whatever domain you want to buy, you buy it. What I like to do, because you're going to need to buy a couple of domains for this. Like you can't just buy one, or else you can't send a lot of volume, which I'll talk about later. But if my domain is b2bscale.com, like I said earlier, I don't want to use my main domain. So what am I going to do? I'm going to use a variation like the b2bscale.com, pro b2bscale.com, your b2bscale.com, the dash b2bscale.com, pro dash, like basically small variations like that are very similar, but obviously not the same. Once you've bought them, you're then going to add them to a Google admin console. So how do you create a Google admin console? A lot of you guys know this. It's pretty straightforward. Search for Google Workspace on Google. Open the first link and get started. Just create a Google Workspace account. A lot of you guys know this. It's where you create your email accounts, typically for your business. Get started. And when it starts loading, what it's going to do is it's going to ask you for your business information, business name, employees, region. You basically go through this whole thing. And I will let you guys know, sometimes what happens with us is at the end, it will ask you, hey, can you give us, like, if they don't trust you for whatever reason, especially when you set up a lot of accounts, they might ask you for your credit card information, like a picture of your credit card and a passport or a government ID to verify that it's you. When that happens, just a heads up, just put it in, give them the 24 to 48 hours, and then they'll accept it and you get access to the workspace. Once you're in, it looks like this. So again, guys, first thing I do is I buy domains. I won't do it, but I bought them already. That's pretty straightforward. And then I add them to the admin console. My team's already added some, so we're ready here. Oh, let me just log in so you guys can see this. And once we add the domains, there are a couple steps that we're going to go through here to make sure that we can actually use them for cold email. There you go. So again, I clicked on domains, guys. They asked me to log in again. I'm going to go to manage the domains, and this is where I'll see all of them. So here they are. I've got 2 of them that are already added. I'm going to show you guys first how to add a domain. So you add it here, and you enter the domain name. So mine is, I've got one as an example. This one, we'll just add it. There you go. You add it as a secondary domain. Add the domain and start verification. If the domain is connected to GoDaddy, which is what we do, obviously it's super easy to set up. You just literally click on this, sign in to verify. It will lead you to GoDaddy. Connected. And then it leads me.
You said GoDaddy is better, right?
Yes, it's not the only one. Yeah, but it's like you can use GoDaddy. I believe Squarespace or Google Domains is also good. I try to avoid Namecheap because that's where people, just so people can understand the mindset behind it. People typically go to like scammers and spammers and people that are not necessarily using cold email for the good of society. They buy domains from Namecheap because it's cheaper. So because of that, there is a reputation to it. GoDaddy is very well trusted, and also .com domains are very well trusted. So I know I'm using
.com
.xyz,
and GoDaddy.
Exactly.
Yeah, .xyz is just for the example.
Exactly. So don't do .xyz, guys. Or your domains are good. It's not going to work as well.
So .com and GoDaddy. Just keep it simple, guys.
Exactly. So once I add it, I got to verify the domain. And that's what was happening right now. Typically, you got to wait for like 5 minutes. I'm not going to do that. Here it is. It's still verifying. I've already had my team add some other domains. So it's verifying right now. Once it's verified, this is another domain, and this is what it will look like. It'll say verified, but you got to activate Gmail. So I'm going to do that next. Set up MX record. Next. And there you go. With GoDaddy, it's super easy. As you can see, it immediately does it. So now it's activating Gmail. And again, I'm going through this fast, guys, but some context. This one is the one I just verified. You got to wait for a couple minutes. Then for Gmail, I got to wait for a couple minutes. And you got to do this for every single domain. And later, I'll tell you guys how many domains you need to actually like send out a lot of emails. And then once this is verified, it's in progress, it looks like this. Cool. So it's verified and Gmail is activated. So let's go back to the slides. First thing I did is I added the domain. I activated Gmail, and now I'm going to add SPF, DKIM, and DMARC in that order. I'm not going to go over technical terms, but basically, those are things that, again, improve your deliverability, just to keep it pretty simple. Obviously, there's some more technical stuff to it, but we'll keep it simple. So SPF, guys, is the first one. And this is typically already added automatically when you add your domain and you activate Gmail. And how do I know that's a fact? go to a tool, like I said, like MX Toolbox, and go to their SPF record check. And you can find this pretty easily by searching MX Toolbox SPF check. And it's the first thing that comes up. So I already have it open. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the domain in here to make sure that it's set up properly. And you always want to do this for every single domain, guys, to make sure you didn't make a mistake. So copy the domain, SPF, and domain name, and look it up. And there you go. When everything's green here, it means it's set up properly. So that is the first thing. And again, it's typically set up by itself when you add the domains to Google Workspace. So next, I'm then going to go and set up DKIM. Make sure first, DKIM, right? Make sure that SPF is working. It is. Okay, let's go set up DKIM. How you do that is you go to the admin console, search for DKIM in the search bar, and it's the first one that comes up. I'm going to go there. And again, I use the sheet to set this all up, like I was saying. So it's going to help us with keeping track of everything. So this is the one I was setting up. Add it to Google. I've set up SPF. Now I'm at DKIM. The domain is growth-b2b.xyz. So let's open that up here. I'm going to select the domain. I believe this was the one here. Yep. So this is what it looks like when you haven't set it up. And the way you do it, guys, is you generate a new record. First thing, keep this the same. Generate. And let's refresh the page. There you go. So this is what it then comes up with. I'm then going to go to GoDaddy. This is a bit technical, but very simple, guys. So I'm going to go to GoDaddy. Sorry, there you go. I find my domain. Here it is. I go to DNS. And you can, again, if you do choose to use another domain provider, like Google, it's not Google Domains anymore, but anything else, they also have a DNS management section for each domain where you can add. And if you use high level to connect the domain to high level, typically you have to do this as well. So a lot of you guys might be familiar with it. Let's go back. I'm going to add this record to the domain. So I'm going to go here, add a record. This is for DKIM. Again, the second one we need to set up. The record is TXT. So it's a TXT text record. No, it's not text. TXT. Go here, copy this, and copy this. And there you go. I can keep this the same, save. And then what you got to do, guys, is you got to give it some time. There's a button here that says start authentication. If I try clicking on it, it's going to say it's not going to work, not verified. You got to wait a little bit. I don't know the exact time, typically a couple minutes to sometimes a couple hours. Once you click on this and it actually works, it will say it will turn to stop authentication. And once the authentication starts, which is not going to work for now, your DKIM is verified. But again, I would then go and double check using MX Toolbox. So let's take the domain here. This was the SPF check. I do DKIM as well. And again, it's not going to work now because I just an error occurred. So it's not going to work right now. Let's try it again. Oh, sorry, that's why. I do want to say when you look for DKIM, put the domain name and also selector. It asks for a selector. You want to put Google. If you're doing it the way I'm doing it, if you're using Google, right? Apparently it's working, so we got it done. But despite that, always make sure that it says start, the authentication here starts, or else don't use it yet. Like don't just skip to the next part. I gotta wait till this says start authentication, till this works when I click on it and it does give me an error, even if DKIM is set up here. Because you see everything is green. DKIM record found, the record is valid, public key is present. Cool. So let's pretend, guys, because we were low on time, that this did work. I'm then gonna set up DMARC. So how do I set up DMARC? Here, DMARC.
Yo, Christian, by the way, people are saying that you were in the DNS for the wrong domain.
Oh, was that?
That's what some people said.
They're right, but it's fine. It's not a big deal as long as you guys understand like how to do it. The next step is DMARC. So to set up DMARC, it's the same. I gotta add a TXT record again. I'm gonna do it with the.
We're trying to go very. By the way, Christian, you're doing an amazing job. Just huge shout out. Like you are so freaking smart, bro. It's insane, and you're fast.
Joel hypes me up all the time. But guys, watch it at
Yeah,
0.2x.
I would have, I would absolutely recommend you guys go back and watch this. Yeah, on like 0.5x speed, 0.5, not 5x. After the recording is live on YouTube.
I would
Yeah,
have to
because
do
we're out of
0.25.
time.
I'm a little slower. I gotta do 0.25. Not a techie. Keep going, Christian. We're not stopping you.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So DMARC again, guys. Recap. I set up SPF. It's working. I set up DKIM in the right domain. It's working. I don't just look here. I gotta make sure again that, and this is not gonna work because I did the wrong domain, but start authentication should work. Once this works, I then set up DMARC in that same domain. So for DMARC, I go back, TXT. I have added the official Google article on how to set it up right here. So you guys can access that in the slides. So here's what I need to do. Copy this right here. All right, that's the name here, the name of the record. Now for the second one, the record value, I'm gonna copy this, but you'll notice here, there's an email. I'm gonna need to change that. And I'll tell you guys why. What DMARC does, guys, is it sends reports pretty much, I believe every day, I might be wrong, but it sends reports to this email saying, hey, things are going well, things are going well. I personally ignore them. And I don't think most of you, like probably all of you, shouldn't actually pay attention to that. Just make sure that this email is one of your emails so you don't send out reports to random people, is what I'm saying. So if I had to do it for me, let's just put one of our business emails here. And please don't email me. My team's gonna get surprised.
Christian, quick question.
Yeah,
You don't use something like Cloudflare for DNS management?
I personally don't.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just not familiar with it. That's why.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
Guys, you know
Yeah.
where we told you guys with Isaac, take what we taught you and innovate on it? For the cold email, for the setup, for this part, just copy and paste it.
Yeah, don't innovate on
there's
someone.
this is more of the tech stuff. Like it requires just clear copying and pasting. We'll talk
100%.
about this when we get to the scripts. That's where you can innovate.
Yeah.
100%. So I've now added DMARC, guys. Again, I would put it here. Check for DMARC. This is obviously the wrong domain. Well, let's just do this one real quick. You got it. I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's set up properly. In here, let's see if it works. This is what it looks like. So it's green. I know some of these are yellow, but I'm not going to go into too many details here. DMARC, you can set it up a lot of different ways. If this is what it says for you guys, it's good. There's 2 yellow ones here and 3 green ones. You're good. So again, let's go back to the sheet. SPF, DKIM, DMARC. I've set them up. I've added the domain to Google. We are now good to go for domains. And I always check with MX Toolbox, free tool, to make sure they're set up properly. So that was the first step. You guys are not ready for the other ones. Let's keep going. So now we're going to set up the email accounts.
If you're brain
the other
fried
ones are
and
more simple.
overwhelmed, if you're watching this and brain fried and like totally overwhelmed, don't worry about it. Just stick with it. Just learn the principles. All these replays will be in the YouTube and you'll be able to break it down slowly, just FYI.
And if you want to be an entrepreneur who has the power to send 2,500 emails a day, all the way up to 10,000 emails a day, as you scale this, you got to learn this shit. You know, you can't have it all, right? It's like,
this is what your competition is doing. So you got to beat them.
Exactly.
And I will say this. I will say this too, because
me and Paulson are playing good cop, bad cop.
But I will say this, like you guys can also, and I'm not talking about us, you can pay people to set this up for you on like Upwork. Because obviously like some people will do cold email for other people, for agencies, it's a full service. But if you just want someone to set it up, just so you know, and I don't have a specific like person to refer you guys to, there are people that this is all they do. I don't know them personally. Like we do more than that as like for ourselves. So just, you can search that up, just giving you guys a heads up. There's always people willing to do this work for money. Or you can hire a VA and have them watch this and do it. Just make sure they're doing it right. We've now set up the domains properly. We're now going to start setting up the emailing accounts. This one's pretty simple. I will say this though, guys. Sometimes when you try logging into them, it will ask you for a phone code, not a number. It's like you got to put in a number and then it's going to send a code and you got to put it in, right? Don't use your number for that because you're going to set up a lot of accounts if you want to send volume, which like Joel said earlier, I'm paraphrasing here, but like, you're not going to get crazy results sending 50 emails a day. I was sending literally over 10,000. I don't know if I should have sent that many, but I was sending a lot. That generated like could be between 20, 30 grand a month for my agency in Cairo back then. But you don't like, you got to send at least 1,000 a day minimum if you want to see, like, in my opinion, a significant results. So that's why you're going to need a lot of phone numbers. And what we do internally is we use this tool called SMS Activate to basically get, I've got it open actually, to get temporary phone numbers specifically made for codes, like to get a code. Just a heads up, always use first world country numbers. So, because I've had a bad experience using, like, you know, because the third world country numbers are cheaper, but that can be dangerous. So I actually asked my team before this, what numbers do you guys use currently? And they told me Netherlands. So let's let's use Netherlands. I'll just refresh the page here.
A quick question,
Shout out to the
Christian.
ones here.
Do we
Yes,
not
sir.
do the chips anymore? Like, is that old stuff? Like where you go
Oh,
buy
dude,
the SIM cards? Are the
you can
SIM
do that.
card-
You can do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we used to do that as
That's
well.
okay.
You can
Yeah,
still
I
do
had
that.
my VA go to the fish market and buy hundreds of SIM cards out in Philippines, and he would be
100%.
activating it, and we would get like 500 email domains set up.
You could do that for sure. This is
Okay.
easier though, but like I used to do
Okay.
that as well.
Okay, cool. So this is even easier. So let's just do that if that's easier.
Yeah, because you can literally just add some money. I know this is sketchy, guys. It's like, this is Russian rubles. But you literally just search for Gmail, add money, search for the country. Again, we'll do Netherlands. This is like probably, it's less than $1. Like, it's very cheap to get a number, just a heads up. Buy it, and then it will pop up somewhere. Oh, all right. I haven't used it myself in a while. My team does it. Apparently it's not, oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. There's the number. I would copy this number, put it in. If the account asks for a number, guys, I would put it in, and then it will send a code here. Let's delete that. Just so you guys know, because you're going to have that issue for some of you. But let me show you first how to create email accounts. Like, now that we've added the domain, right? So the domains are added. We've done SPF, DKIM, DMARC. Make sure they're good with MX Toolbox. I'm going to go to users. And how do I create a user? So I'm going to add a new user here. Give it whatever name you want. So let's give it my name. Select the domain, because you can select multiple ones. Whatever primary email works, but typically just your first name, last name. And what you can also do is you can add a profile picture here, which I will recommend you guys do. I'm not going to do it for now, but like, this is where you would add a profile picture. There are other ways, but it just heads up. I will then add the user, and it is now created. I would copy the password typically and the username, put it in the sheet so I can keep track of it. And at the end, guys, you will have like a lot here, right? So that's why you want to keep track of it somewhere. So I'm not going to try to log into this one because I'm already logged into another one here, which we all created before for the sake of speed. What I'm going to do now, let's go back here. Again, I create the account, I try logging in, right? And sometimes it asks for a phone code. I use SMS Activate for that and buy first world country numbers. Always use one phone number per account. I've made the mistake of not doing that. I would buy one number for the sake of like saving costs and use it for like 2 accounts. And what tends to happen when I did that, the accounts wouldn't let us log in due to suspicious activity. And when that happens, just a heads up, delete the account and create a new one, but only use one number per account. And again, they're super cheap. Do the conversion on Google. It's like a couple of cents, 10, 20 cents. And you can set these accounts up on an incognito window or really any window for those wondering. Once we've logged in, and I have one open right now, we're going to set up these 3 things. Turn on IMAP, which we're going to need to connect the account to the cold email tool later. Add a profile picture, which I've already talked about, and add a birthday, and I'll say why. So let's go to the account. So how do I turn on IMAP, which is the most important? I go to the settings here, see all settings, forwarding and pop IMAP, and I enable it. And right here, enable IMAP and save. Profile picture, I already showed you guys how to add that. So that's pretty straightforward. If I go to the account here, go to manage your Google account, I can add a birthday. And I'll tell you guys why we do it. It's because I've heard a long time ago that if you don't have a birthday, it can affect deliverability. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like split test it, but it doesn't hurt. It takes like 2 seconds. So I think it's worth it not to risk it. So I might as well, right? So the account is now ready. That is it. Literally, you create the account. You can do more things. Keep in mind, guys, you can do, this is like really the essentials. But now I can use this account to send out cold emails. There are a couple of things you got to do first, but that's
So
literally
you
it.
do recommend
And you
adding
got
a
to do
profile picture?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, really, you're imitating a real sign up.
Yes. And we're just doing it like in mass volume because I only did one, but I'll talk about it later. If you want to send 2,500 cold emails a day, you guys need 28 domains and you need 84 accounts on those domains. So you got to do this
How
like
long? How
a
much
lot,
time does that take you to set up?
a day. Not like my team will take like about a day for each system.
Can you
Actually,
say that
more,
one more
sorry,
time?
more.
80. So it'll take about a
Yeah.
day to get to a day of hard work, nonstop,
To set up the system,
set up
if not
to
more.
just set everything up. Okay, so
Yeah,
let's
'cause
say
I got-
let's just say to keep it simple, 2 to 3 days for every 2,500 emails of uninterrupted work. So a weekend of uninterrupted work. If you want to have 10,000, you'll need 4 weekends of uninterrupted work, or about a whole week.
Plus you got like 3 Red Bulls and like 2 Monsters, but like yeah, it does get tiring. Just so you guys know, right? Like it's definitely repetitive. So
Or you can also
definitely.
hire a virtual assistant on like Upwork or
Yeah.
Remote Latinos, or like all these other places that have virtual assistants to go through the process, and you just make sure they do it right one time with them, maybe even 2 or 3 times, and then they could just keep doing it for you. And if they're charging you $5 an hour and it takes 2 days, and they work, let's
Super
say,
cheap.
just keep it, let's just say they work 10 hours each day. So you're paying $100 plus obviously the cost of the domain, but $100 to have someone do this for you.
Christian,
Which is not bad.
can you go over the numbers one more time? Those that might have missed it. How many domains do we need to be able to send out 2,500? I think 2,500 is a good range to start per day.
Yep, there is. That's the next step. So we set up, let me just do a, and I would argue, Paulson, you don't need to start at 2,500, but I think it's like ideal, not ideal, but you're going to see like really significant results there. 1,000 is like the minimum, I would say. If you're going to do this, you could do 500 a day, but it's like, yeah, it's going to take a while. So, okay, let me go over the slides. You guys will understand how to set up. For every domain that I buy, I set up 3 emailing accounts. So for example, if I have b2bskill.com, I have Christian at b2bskill.com, Christian Ishu at b2bskill.com, and Christian.e, or just Christian E at b2bskill.com. Some people will say you can set up to 5 email accounts per domain. We just don't do that. We've done this and it's worked well for us. Now I'm going to skip some slides here to go back to what Paulson was saying, but basically, guys, you'll see this later. I don't have my calculator, but every account can send 30 cold emails per day once it's fully ramped up. Every like one of these. At least that's what I recommend, and I would recommend you guys do what I recommend. So if I just do some quick math, 30, if I want to send 1,000, I need about 33 accounts, right? And I have 3 emailing accounts per domain. So I need 11 domains. That's to send 1,000. So 11 domains, $12 a year. 33 accounts, $7.20 a month if you're using Google Workspace, which I recommend. If I want to send 2,500 cold emails per day, again, each account sends 30 cold emails per day. I need 84 emailing accounts. It's just about that. It's like 2,520. 84 emailing accounts. Again, 3 accounts per domain. You just divide that by 3. That means I have 28 domains.
And why is 30
that's
the range that you don't cross? Like 30 emails per day?
Yeah. So a general rule that is set in cold email, not just by me, but just people in general, is you don't want to send more than 50 emails per day per emailing account, especially new ones. If you want to do more volume, you just get more accounts, because the more emails I send per account, the more it's at risk of like getting restricted, getting emails marked as spam. So we are sending 30, at least the way I set it up, which obviously works for us, send 30 cold emails per day. And we send 20 we call warm-up emails per day. I'll talk about that in a second here. So if you add both of those together, we're at 50. And that is why we choose 30. Some people will say, I want to do 25 cold emails, 25 warm-up. We do 30 cold emails, 20 warm-ups, because it has worked for us. So in all that in mind, do that with keeping in mind that you don't want to go over 50 total emails per day, including cold emails, warm-up emails, and anything else. And a side note, you can typically only have up to 50 emailing accounts per Google Workspace. So like, this whole thing that I said, this whole thing that I'm setting up here, I can only typically have 50, depending on the plan you're on, from one of my team told me, because they're the ones that set this up. Like Joel was saying, guys, last month, we onboarded 15 new clients. I'm not setting this up myself for 50 new clients. Like, that would be crazy. We have like full-time team members doing this, right? So I would recommend, like Joel said, Upwork, get a VA. Like it's very, you could get somebody for $3 an hour, $4 an hour to do this for you. Like in the Philippines, it's pretty not complicated. Quick tip too, don't set up these accounts in your main Google Workspace. So I did that mistake, honestly, but it hasn't hurt me yet. Looking back, I wouldn't have done it. Where you have your main account. So if you have your own company, you have your email address, you have your team members' email addresses, don't set up your email accounts for cold email on that Google Workspace. Go create another one. Because, and this is like rare, I'll talk about how to avoid this later, but like potentially in the same way that Facebook guys can just shut down your business manager just like that, Google could shut down your Google Workspace if they wanted to. So I want to make sure to separate the cold email ones, which are more risky than from the regular ones. Because technically, and I haven't mentioned this, Google doesn't want you to do cold email, not just them, but like most email providers, Outlook, Google, Zoho. It is legal though, like in the US, as long as you're in the US, it's allowed. But that's why we got to do all these things. And I'll talk to you guys about it in a second, like the warm up. We just got to go around Google's algorithm pretty much. And also make sure, we've made that mistake, guys, so please learn from it. Make sure that all your accounts are in the $7.20 per month plan. Because when you create the workspace, sometimes what Google does is they'll give you a plan. They'll say, hey, go on the $21 a month plan. And then you go and you forget about it and you set up all these accounts. And then a couple weeks later, you see you're been charged like $21 per account. It stacks up, right? Especially when you have 80 plus accounts. So do the $7.20 per month plan. You can quickly double check. Actually, I'm not going to show you guys. Just double check. Just to make sure I go through this fast. This is pretty big, or else you might lose quite a lot of money that you don't need to lose. So once we've set up the accounts, we're going to send cold emails using a tool called instantly.ai. A lot of you know it. A lot of you don't know it as well. And there are other competitors that work. Smart Lead is one of them. I personally use Instantly. This is what it looks like when you're in it. So you want to get the $97 a month plan. It's the least expensive one that gets you what you need to send out cold emails. Oops, sorry guys. There you go. I got too many tabs open. Give me one quick second. There you go. We're then going to add the email accounts to Instantly once we've set them up the way that I showed you guys. And before we do that, there's just one thing that I have to do, which is to set up what we call OAuth in your Google Workspace, authentication. Because if you want to connect an email account to Instantly, which again is the tool that sends out the cold emails, like because you can't, there are cold emails, tools specifically made for cold email. Instantly is one of them. So let me show you guys how to add an account once you're in Instantly, right? I go to add new, Gmail, G Suite, that's what we use, right? They ask you to enable IMAP. Remember, guys, we already did it. That's why I told you guys to do it. And then we're going to select authentication. This is the easier, like I said, easier to set up, more stable, available for G Suite accounts. I'm then going to log in. I'm going to need to log into the account. But before I do that, we got to set up authentication. And I mentioned this in the slides here. You only need to set up authentication once per Google Workspace account. So if all my accounts are in here, I set up, let's say 50, I don't need to do it for each account. This takes way less time. So let's go do that real quick. It's pretty easy. Again, you only do this once, literally per workspace. So I search for API. Here I am. I then go to manage third-party access. I'm going to add an app. Perfect. It's not even done. I'm going to do it right now. Add an app and select OAuth app name. This is for Instantly, guys, specifically, right? It's not like for any cold email tool. If you're using Instantly, which I recommend, this is how you set it up. So I'm going to go to Instantly, copy the client ID here that they give you, search for it. Here it is. Select. This is good. Trusted. And finish. And this is what it looks like. Now I can connect all the accounts that are in this workspace to Instantly. So let's go do that. The one that I just set up, I believe, was this one. There you go. You want to allow. And it is now in Instantly. So we've now successfully created the account, added domains. set up the domains, created the accounts, set up the accounts, and added them to Instantly. So let's search for that account real quick. Here it is. So I'm going to show you guys how to set it up in Instantly in a second. But first, let's go back here. Okay. Once we've connected all the Google Workspace accounts to Instantly, we're going to launch what we call the warm-up. So very quick explanation of what the warm-up is. When you send out cold email, guys, cold emails are actually, like I was saying, you're not supposed to do it. They don't get opened a lot. They get marked as spam from some people. Some people don't reply to them. And when those three things happen and more, it decreases the reputation of your accounts. And if it keeps happening, your accounts get restricted. So cold emails are like bad emails that are taking down your reputation. Warm-up emails do the opposite. So you always want to make sure that you're doing both at the same time. That's why I was telling Paulson earlier, we send 20 warm-up emails per day and 30 cold emails. And you never turn on warm-up, guys. You always keep it on while you're doing cold email. Not only that, but you don't want to send out cold emails before warming up your accounts for at least 14 days, not business days, but just 14 days. So the warm-up settings, I'm actually going to show them to you guys here. I've got them here. Are these ones. I'm just going to show them to you guys. I think it'll be easier than reading through this. So I've got it again in the sheet. Let's go to the, I know I keep referring to the sheet, but it's because we actually use it. So we added the birthday, we did IMAP, we connected to Instantly, and the settings here are the ones that we want to set up. So let me show you guys what they are. Oh, wrong one, sorry. All right. So the account is here, right? I'm going to click on it and go to the settings. First things first. 30 daily emails max. So like I said earlier, we don't want to send more than 30 cold emails per day. So I'm going to set up the limit here to 30. That's one. Done. Then for the that's not actually warm up, but I do it while I'm here, right? The warm up is here. Warm up settings basic. So what I'm going to do here, this is how we do it. We increase the warm up by 2 per day. So in other words, on the first day, it's going to send 2 warm up emails. On the second day, it's going to do 4. Then on the third, it's going to do 6, then 8, then 10, then 12, and it's keep increasing until it hits 20. The daily warm-up limit, and we're going to keep that at 20. So once it hits 20, it's not going to go over that. The reply rate is 80%, meaning 80% of my warm-up emails get replied to because, again, just some context on what warm-up is. Instantly has all these users, right? And what the warm-up does is it sends emails between the Instantly users, and it purposely opens them, replies to them, takes them out of spam, and marks them as important even to increase the reputation. So that's how it does it.
Back in the day,
the advanced settings.
Back in the
go ahead,
day
Paulson.
when Joel like started off this whole thing, like I want to say like, I don't know, 2016 maybe, what we would do is subscribe to like retailers. So we would like subscribe to like Macy's, all the restaurants in the local area, and let it run for like a month and kind of impersonate. And I don't think that's even relevant today in 2024. So I'm glad you mentioned the whole Instantly tool. I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, no, that was the newsletter thing. You'd sign up for like 10 newsletters, leave it there for like 2 weeks. Yeah, I remember that. So this tool's so good for just skipping that.
Yeah. So quick question on the relationship with high level on something like this. Where does high level even come in? Do you not recommend it? I usually don't recommend people to use high level for cold email at mass scales like this. I rather recommend people using high level for post processing afterwards.
Exactly. So I'm going to talk about it. We don't use high level to send out cold emails, but I use high level to build out the landing page that we send to the leads. And then when we do reminders, right, when we get a lead, we use high level for that. And also we reactivate leads through high level. So I won't talk about this today because we're out of time here and I don't have it in the slides. But when you get a cold email, you guys, you don't just email them once and that's it. What you're doing is you're building a pipeline, right, of people that are interested in your services. And over time, we use high level to send them more emails, If they opt in into text, send them text. Hey, are you interested? Exactly. Like nurturing over time, reminder, the landing page, the calendar, that's all high level. So Instantly sends out the emails. Once you have the leads, high level is what you use to get them to book and to follow up and reminders and all that.
Makes sense. Very cool. I mean, the principles haven't changed much of back when I had my agency, because like we would do like SIM cards and we would dial in and all these crazy things back in the day with our VAs overseas. What else do we need to know about cold email at scale like this?
What else do we need to know? I'll show you guys the warm settings. And the other thing to know, I mean, this is pretty pretty much it. You just got to do this like over and over again, and for a lot of accounts. There's a couple things to be careful about with the scripts that I'll talk about in a second. But I'll just finish this warm up. Just to let me know, Paulson and Joel, if this is good. I'll have to go through this a bit fast. I mean, it looks like a lot of slides, but they're pretty quick. So I'll go even faster.
All right, buckle up, y'all. Buckle up. Give us I totally get it if you're feeling overwhelmed and it's like Paulson. I got people messaging me, Paulson, this is so much info. We're literally trying to tell you everything we've learned over the last like 5-6 years of building 7-figure agencies and how we compete in today's market. This is what you're going out there and competing against. Hundreds and thousands of agencies that do systems like this. So this is not, this is not new. This is all stuff that's very standard in the world of being an agency owner. And now you're adding SaaS to the mix with better offers. Now you're adding AI to the mix, which with more efficiency. It's going to get really interesting in 2024. All right, Christian, I guess go faster, my guy.
And just context, guys, because I know it looks like a lot, but I'm not going to even talk about our paid clients. I'm like Joel said, I'm a coach in his program. I had people in his program come to me and say, hey, man, I made so much money with your system because I teach this thing in there as well. So there's money here to be made, guys. I know it's a lot at first, but let's go back to the warm-up. So again, I set the limit to 30. I don't want to send more than 30 cold emails per day. Warm-up increased by 2, limit to 20, reply rate is 80%. Here, I turn on these two. I don't turn on the weekdays one. So you can read through them. It just helps with the warm-up. Open rate, I'm just going to go and check the stats because, again, they are in the sheet just to make it easier for you guys. So we did the 2 increase per day and the 20 warm-up limit. I did the 80% reply rate. Read emulation, I turned on. It's the one here, this middle one. Warm custom tracking domain, I turned on. It's the other one that I turned on right below it. Then I'm going to turn on a warm-up open rate. So let's go here at 80% and 50% warm-up mark as important rate. So what does that mean? It means that 80% of my warm-up emails get opened and mark important. It means 50%. I'm going to put it 50% of my warm-up emails get marked as important. Spam protection, I keep at 100. So how many of your warm-up emails to save from spam? So if my warm-up emails go to spam, Istly will automatically take them out of spam. Again, to signal to the email providers that like, hey, we're good, we're doing good things, right? We're not sending out cold emails in any way, shape, or form. And cold emails are good things as well, but they don't think that. So we'll continue. So I've done this, and this. The rest that I have to the right is not it's not really required here. I'll just go and continue through these slides. So again, now, oh, sorry, there is one last step that's pretty important. You got to turn on the warm up. So let's go back. Save the settings, warm up, and enable. And you know it's enabled instantly when this is green. So the warm-up's enabled. And again, it didn't save. Just make sure sometimes, I know this is a bug. I think sometimes you got to refresh the page and go back to the settings. Make sure the settings are correct. Okay. Once you've launched a warm-up, like I was saying, guys, you then got to wait 14 days. Do not send cold emails before that, or else you're very much at risk. That includes weekends as well. And that includes today. So today is when it's going to start sending 2 warm-up emails per day, then 4, then 6, then 8. And on the 15th day, we can start sending out cold emails after all of this setup. So how do we send out cold emails? I have 2 sending schedules that I'm going to give you guys, because you don't immediately start sending 30 per day. You got to ramp it up. So even after 14 days. So on day 15, I will start sending 10 cold emails per day per account. This is what we do for our clients. So it's pretty safe. You do that for 7 days of sending emails. And for context, I don't send emails on Sundays, but I do it Monday through Saturday. If you want to do Monday through Friday, that's fine as well. So 7 days of sending emails at 10 emails per account. Then 20 cold emails per account for another 7 days. And after these 2 7-day periods, right, I go to 30.
Sorry,
and I never
quick.
go over that. And
real quick, is this within the first 14 days or after the 14 days?
After. So the first 14 days, I don't touch it. Okay. I leave the warm up on using the settings that I showed everybody. I don't do anything else. Then after 14 days of warm up, no sending cold emails, I start sending cold emails this way. This is like super safe method, guys. So 7 days of 10 per day per account, another 7 days of 20 cold emails per day per account, and then 30. And then again, you stay at 30 cold emails and 20 warm ups. And if you want to scale, you get more accounts. I'll give you guys the rescue method if you guys want to take a risk. And we do this for ourselves. It does work, but it is more risky, just so you know. After the 14 days of warm up on day 15, right? Because I warmed it up for 14 days. I sent 5 per day per account. Then the next day 10, then 15, then 20, then 25, then I stay at 30. So that's way faster, and it works for us as well. But the faster you ramp this up, guys, the more risk there is. Like if I warmed up for a month, I'm very sure that like my accounts will not get restricted. There's no way. This is what I was talking about earlier. You don't want to send more than 50 emails per day per account. And by the way, this is the system, guys, just so you know, like now you've done this, the warm up, you set up everything I told you, you're sending cold emails. You don't want to send more than 50 emails per day per account, including warm ups and cold. This is what I was telling Paulson. We're sending 20 more emails per day and 30 cold emails per day, which is 50 total. I'm not going to go over that. If you want to send more volume, get more accounts. Don't go over 50 per day per account. I'm going to quickly go through these guys because I want to talk about the script and everything else. So, and how to get a list. So a couple of things, something you can do. Again, you don't need this, but you guys can Google how to do this. You can do what we call domain forwarding. So what that is I just bought a domain. Let's say I bought b2bscalers.com and I set it up for cold email. I can make it so that when someone Googles this domain to check us out, it redirects them to anywhere I want, to our landing page, let's say. It's very easy to set up in GoDaddy, and I have a tutorial here on how to do it. Like you guys will have these slides, like we said, at the end of the workshop. So you guys can do that. I'm not going to show you because I want to make sure to have time to go over everything else. Something else. Some of you guys might know cold email, and you're like, Christian, can I track open rate? Well, you're probably not asking that, but I will tell you though, to your surprise, I do not recommend that you track your open rates because instantly lets you do that. The problem with I'll just show you guys real quick. If I go to a campaign instantly, which I'm not going to show you guys how to set these up because it's fairly simple. You guys can Google that. I'm trying to go over the stuff that is harder to find. I can disable open tracking here in the campaign settings. The campaigns is what we set up to actually send out cold emails. I actually recommend that you do not set up open rates because what happens is when you set up open rates, deliverability goes down. Side note, you don't ideally want links. You don't want attachments. You don't want images, videos in your first email that you send out to people because that also reduces deliverability. And the thing with open rate is it adds a pixel, an attachment to your emails. So that's how it's able to track open rate. But because it does that, deliverability goes down.
Yeah, and also even like subject lines, you want to use like lowercase subject lines. You don't want to add emojis, and there's like this whole email thing is like its own industry in the world of digital marketing. There are massive companies that are just specialized in something like this. So as much as we're covering, there's going to be more depth to this that you may want to do your own research. But even like I recently learned that like lowercase subject lines is a lot more safer versus like capitalized letters in each one of the words. Like every single email subject line, if you go through it, you probably capitalize one of those letters in one of those words. But keep going, Christian. I'm not the expert.
Yeah, you don't know. Paulson's right, especially like you don't want all caps. Like you definitely don't want that. And you'll see. I'll give you guys the scripts we use later for the same offer, pay per show. You'll notice what Paulson just said. I apply as well. No capital letters, and the subject line. If you do choose to track open rates, guys, you got to set up what we call a custom tracking domain. I'm not going to go into too many details as to how to do that. Instantly has a lot of tutorials, and this leads you to a tutorial on how to do it. And I would honestly recommend that you only track open rates for like a couple of days at most. So like 2-4 days just to get, the data and understand it. Don't leave it turned on forever because again, it does reduce deliverability. And when you do set up a custom tracking domain, let's go back here to one of the accounts. Here it is. It's right here. So they literally give you the option to turn it on. You got to add a CNAME right here. They'll show you how to do that if you go to the article that I connected in the slides.
Also,
so now you have set up.
Also, real quick, Christian, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Why not buy like a warmed up domain or warmed up cold email system? Like, have you tried that, or do you feel more trust that you built it yourself?
So a great question. I haven't tried that. I would say the only thing that like might be bad with that is that the domain might not be branded to your company, or it might be completely random. Now, I don't know if that affects results a lot. It probably does a little bit, but like if someone has a cold email system and it's branded to their company with their domains, and then I buy it, I'd have their domains,
Yeah, there are
which
companies that
it's not
sell
like a big
warmed
deal,
up. Yeah, there are companies that'll, for the purposes of selling domains for cold emailers and stuff like that, you can buy stuff like getappointments.com and like crazy like generic emails. But then,
Yeah,
like you said, it doesn't brand to your business. You don't know what they did with it. A lot of folks will sell the same thing to like 5 different people and they reuse it. So there's
yeah,
it's kind of a shady space in a sense. If you are not careful,
it
you
is.
will get in trouble, and fry your IPs and stuff like that. Anyways, let's keep going. Don't mean to sidetrack you. How to scrape a list for 120. That's pretty cheap these days. Wow.
It is, dude. It is. And I will say this, I've done some of the things Paulson says, like buying accounts. It does work, but like you said, it is a bit shady. They'll resell your accounts. I will go through this like super quick, guys. There's so scraping lists is an industry in and of its own. Like there are people who build businesses off of that. I'll just keep it simple for an agency. All right. I'll give you one tool, use it, it'll work. D7 Lead Finder, very overused. People think the list does not work. We use it for our clients. It works for them, I promise. So what you do is you get the D7 Lead Finder. Let me get out of these slides. Professional plan, right? So let's go to the website real quick. It's
Yeah,
again, it's
key on
overused.
all those is get the highest plan.
Yes, yes, because what it does in D7 is it lets you scrape 100 cities a day. So you want to scrape fast. Like if you want to get if you're scraping one city a day, it's going to take you a while to build a pretty big list. So the plans are here. I can go to bulk search in D7 and put a keyword. Like let's say you guys are targeting chiropractors, which we've seen like 27 times today, and I've been day one as well, just because Joel had a chiropractor UC, and I could go on. But I'm going to put the keyword. I have a list here, guys, of the top 1,000 US cities. I just found it on the internet. It's not hard to find. I will put those cities here. Make sure to put them in the format that they want. You do 100 at a time, right? Because this plan lets you scrape 100 cities. You choose a country of the US if that's what you're doing. But again, if you're cold emailing in other countries, guys, careful. The laws are different. I'm going to give you, everything I gave you is for the US. And then I would fetch the leads, and it's going to give me a list of 100, the chiropractors from 100 cities. And that's it. Next, I want to clean that list. So whenever you scrape, and guys, if you buy a cold email list, doesn't matter what you do, you want to clean it always.
Yes.
Because what happens is Million Verify is a great tool for that we use right now. If I get a list of 80,000 emails, for all I know, 10,000 of them, they don't even exist anymore. And the problem is when you email emails that don't exist, what happens is we call it a bounce. So the emails bounce, meaning it goes to them and then it bounces back to you and it says, hey, this email doesn't exist. And if you get too many of those, your accounts are very much at risk. Like your reputation, they can get disabled, deliverability goes down. So you want to avoid that. So we'll use a tool like Million Verify, which is relatively cheap as well, depending on the size of, even doesn't matter what the size of your list is, it's very cheap. There you go. Let me close some of these tabs, guys. Give me 1 sec.
What was that?
It's getting a bit slow. I'm closing some of the tabs that I have because my
No, it's for Elias.
computer is lagging. There you go.
Let's see. Cool.
I do
There are
cleaning.
several tools like this, right? There's like hunter.io.
Yes.
There's like a bunch of
This is the best one I've seen
Okay.
in
Got it.
terms of like speed and cost, because
Okay.
some are like super expensive, relatively speaking. This one, if you guys want to clean a list of, let's say 20,000 emails or 30,000, which is significant, it'll cost up to $50. And it's actually less because they only charge you credits when for the bad emails, I believe. So it's not actually this much, but about like $37-50. And it cleans it in like 30 minutes to an hour.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah. And a lot of them will charge you expensive and doesn't mean they're good.
No.
They just position it as if it's like they're the best.
Fancy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just play the pricing game, but a lot of them are not that great, just FYI.
And this is a bonus, guys, for D7 specifically, because it is a good tool. It is competitive, like it's been around for a while. But if you have an offer like the one that we're talking about in these, this workshop, it's going to crush. I know because we're doing it right now for people with a similar offer. It's crushing. In a D7 list, and it's not the best list provider, but if you do it right, it's still a really good list. Once I've scraped that list and I've cleaned it, I have my team go in that list and they give you the categories of the email. So if I get an email address in that list, one of the categories might be chiropractor. My team will remove the categories that are not relevant, because the truth is, I get a list of like 50,000 chiropractors from D7. Out of that, maybe 10,000 are like similar industries, physical therapists, dentists, acupuncturists, massage therapists. So like industries are close. So I have my team go in there, not one by one, because you can remove categories, which is much faster with Google Sheets, and just clean up the list from a standpoint of like making sure that it's accurate.
Got it.
All right. So now I have a list. I have the system. Again, depending on how much you want to spend, you can, buy more accounts, less accounts. Like I said earlier, I recommend at least 1,000 emails a day, which would be 11 domains, 33 email accounts, and it would cost you about not much. But let me pull out my calculator here and tell you guys real quick. So the domains would be
You're good,
130
bro.
bucks per
You're
year.
good. I think we get the point. It's there's going to be a minimal operating cost on all these, but it's
But it's nothing.
Yeah, it's nowhere near. So
Yeah.
if you're starting out, start with cold email, and before you go into paid ads, because once you go into by the time you get to paid ads, your offers need to be kind of ironed out. And cold email allows you to kind of iron out your offers in a new market or an existing market, get to a competitive state. Because if you don't have an offer, your ads won't work, because if it stinks, it'll stink more just because you ran some paid ads as far as your offer strength. Okay, keep going. Paper show cold email script. Let's fast track.
I'm about to give it away. And by the way, that was very well said. Real quick, I think cold email is a great way to test your offer, make sure it works, and also make sure your sales process works. And once you know your sales process works and your offer works, you start running paid ads. Unless you have a lot of money in the bank that you can just spend on ads to go faster, I think that's a really good strategy.
Yeah, if you had a lot of money in the bank, just go buy the business instead of building a new one.
That as well. As well.
Yep.
Let's keep this simple, guys. I'm just going to give you 2 templates that work for Paper Show. And I'm going to add a script without spin tag. So back to what Paulson was saying, patience for you. So let's say this is for chiropractors. You can change this for any niche. What do they want? Patience. Hi there, just curious, would you be interested in a Paper Show partnership? We'll send you 20 new patients per month, and you only pay us when a patient shows up. No monthly retainers, no setup fee, no bait and switch. Reply yes if you might be interested, and I'll get back to you ASAP on how this can help company name. Sorry. Thanks, first name. You got to put your company name here, and you got to put your company address legally. You can put a PO box, by the way. And you got to have this opt out. You can reply with stop to opt out. It can be also a link. I just think this is better. I'll say why later. Now, this is going to look crazy, what I'm about to show you guys. So just bear with me here. You want to add spin tags to these scripts. I'll talk about what this is in a second. But basically, what this does, and tools like Instantly let you do this, is it will make each script different. So if I look at these brackets, let's look at this first paragraph here. In the brackets, there's this first sentence. Just curious, would you be interested in a Paper Show partnership? Then a vertical bar here. And then just wondering, would a Paper Show partnership interest you? So it says the same thing, but in different words. And what will happen is when I put this script in Instantly, it will pick one of these randomly. So in other words, every script that I send out is going to be different. And that's important for deliverability and to make sure your accounts don't get restricted.
Yeah, time out for 1 second. Let me explain this. I'm not a techie.
Okay.
I'm gonna break this down for someone who's like me, who's like, man, I'm overwhelmed with the tech. So what you're doing is using something called custom fields or merge fields or values that a system like Instantly allows you, where you can create basically messaging that you can use anywhere. And that messaging could be email, funnels, websites, wherever you put these brackets in. It will basically shoot out whatever your stored message is. So in this scenario of cold emailing, you want to have probably 10, 20 different variations of messages and styles and angles, because what that allows the system to do is pick a round robin method of creating variety in your messaging, which basically creates the experience for the sending to be very diverse. Because if you send the same messages over and over, it throws off an alarm that you're just literally spamming, where these custom fields allows you to have variability.
Yep, exactly. Well said.
Okay. Cool.
And I'll add to that too. So there's 2 types here. There's like this, what I call the spin tags, which is these ones, where it's just taking the sentences that you're already putting in. Couple notes, guys. You can literally take this copy it, put it instantly, subject lines here, send it out, and you're going to get results. I literally, like, this is the script. Like, it works today. But if you wanted to create your own script, again, there's like the syntax, which is like just variations of the same sentence. And you want to make sure that it says the same thing, but with different words. Don't change the meaning of it, because then you're testing like 5 different offers at the same time and you don't know what's working. And then there's custom values. See this right here? Reply with yes, and I'll get back to you on how this can help company name. So this is like pretty common in cold email. When I script a list from like D7 or some other tool, I have the company name as well. And when I upload that to Instantly, what it will do is for every single lead that it sends out an email to, it will automatically put their company name here based on the Excel sheet that I put in Instantly. This is also super important for deliverability, because now every single email you send is different, because every company has a different company name for the most part. A second one, if you guys want to use it, hi there, we're looking for one chiropractor in the city who can handle, again, custom value, who can handle, so Chicago, New York, who can handle 20 new patients in the next 30 days. If you can take these on, we'll send them your way, and you only pay us when they show up at your office. Reply yes if you might be interested. Very simple, straight to the point. Look at the subject line. Quick question. I'm not pitching in the subject line, right? I'm just getting their interest. I'm getting their curiosity. Patients for you. And some of you might be thinking, because quick question has been used for a long time. It is very it's very used in cold email, but I promise it still works because we're using it today. And Joel talked about this. The ones who innovate win. And I'll talk about it later. So if you want to like innovate on this, go ahead. But I can tell you this will work as well. And I've got the script with syntax.
Yeah.
Again, always change the company name and address for sure.
Yeah, and by the way, if you're inside High Level and you're brand new and don't have any scripts at all, we have our 5-day challenge program that we run basically once a week. And I've taken like 8 to 12 scripts of my own agency and planned it around the SaaS offers that we recommend, which is the Trojan horse method that we teach. And you get all of that for free. So if you need cold email scripts, just like literally sign up for the 5-day challenge and you'll get all those assets for free along with paid ads, all free just because you're a part of High Level and you have a High Level account, by the way. So keep going, keep going.
Side note, guys, High Level is actually amazing. And I'm not saying this because I'm speaking. We use it ourselves. I'll show you guys how we use it specifically for cold email, but I would also highly recommend you guys get it if you're running an agency. And not just that, obviously local business can benefit from it, but it's a really great tool. So like I was saying, you always want to have syntax in your cold email scripts, like what I just showed you. And you also want to always make sure to have at least one custom value in the script. If you go back, every one of my scripts has one that I just showed you. Company name, first name, city, whatever. If you don't do this, less emails will get delivered, like what Paulson was saying earlier, because every email is the same. And if every email you send out is the same and you're sending 2,500 a day, good luck, right? Google is going to quickly catch on to that. So you got to have these things in, because if not, your accounts could be at a higher risk of getting restricted. In the US, if you're emailing there are a couple laws you got to follow. I'm no lawyer, but I'll tell you guys what I found and what we do for ourselves based on my research. Company name has to be in there, company address, and again, it can be a PO box. I might be wrong on that. I'm not a lawyer again, but as long as it's like related to your company, and then an opt-out. This is huge, guys. There can be fines with cold email. The only reason I can think of that you would get a fine, and I've never seen anybody get it, but the only reason is if someone tells you to unsubscribe and you don't unsubscribe them and you keep emailing them. So that if you go back to my scripts, you can also reply with stop to opt out. Always have something like this. You can also put a link, but again, like I said earlier, I said links reduce deliverability. So what I tell them is to reply stop, because again, the more people reply to my email, the better for my reputation, the reputation of my accounts. And then you unsubscribe them. It instantly has tutorials on how to do that. They have something called a block list, which allows you to unsubscribe. When you get a positive reply, they reply with yes, right? Because let's go back to the script. Are you interested? Reply with yes, and I'll get back to you ASAP. Sometimes they reply saying, I'm interested. Sometimes they ask a question, what's the price? Never reveal the price, guys, by the way, just give a range. If they ask, what's your service? Never reveal the service. Give them like, we can do this, 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 and that. It really depends on the client. Book a call, right? Always go back to the call, just a heads up. But this is like a template you can use. Literally, we use this with our clients. Hey, first name, good to see you're possibly interested in our pay-per-show offer. If you're not against it, I'd rather we talk over a call than via email. It'll be easier to go over the basics that way. Here's a calendar link to save you some time. I have an example booking page. And then you follow up like crazy, guys. Call them, email them again, text them, legally, of course. Do go reach out to them. You can reach out to them on social media. For us, we only do email and it works, but we've also added like other things. You can just follow up with them by call, which is huge. And the booking page built on none other than high level looks something like this. And you guys, just a heads up, Isaac showed you guys a lander earlier that he uses for paid ads. You can use the same lander for a cold email. It works as well.
By the way, is that
And
your
what he said applies.
is that so? Is it okay for us to use our actual agency domains for the booking pages and stuff like that, or should we get like
Yes.
a? Okay, cool.
This was my Cairo agency. It's the actual domain.
Got
So
it.
that is fine. Yeah,
Cool.
you can use it. Everything Isaac said for the landing page there applies here. And by the way, we've tested like a landing page on high level versus just sending a Calendly. This outperforms. Just so you guys know. So use this. Well, not this, but use the landing page. Logo, call out your audience, attention, XYZ, who want to massively grow their whatever, practice, business. This headline actually is not ideal for cold email. Right now, because I was using this for paid ads. If your email says, I'll send you 20 new patients a month and you only pay per show, this should probably say, and we do this, book a time below to learn more about our new pay per show offer. The sub headline would say, we'll just elaborate, something like this. We're offering to run your ads, schedule your leads for you, and to only charge per qualified patient that shows up. And then you could have another thing that says like, no monthly retainers, no setup fees, no bait and switch, all that stuff. And then a call to action, pick a time for your, whatever you do, 15-minute phone call below to claim one of our 10 spots for the month. And then how we do it is they can book, and we have all these qualifying questions. You can also, I would not put this copy here, but you can have testimonials as well. And then I just do it again. Something like this. Almost done, guys. Couple of final things. I know everybody's brain is fried with everything that you've seen today. Couple of stats to measure. So I'll tell you guys the stats that I look out for to know, is this working or not? And this will vary from person to person. Marketing agency space, pretty competitive. We look for these stats minimum. 1% reply rate, meaning at least 1% of the people I email reply. So out of 100 emails, I get at least one reply. 0.2% positive reply rate. So max again. If I send 500 emails, I get one positive reply. And I will say that this varies, same as Isaac said earlier for paid ads. Like some niches, you get $30 cost per calls. Some you get 120. Cold email, same thing. Some industries, you get like a positive reply for every 100 emails you send. Some for every 1,000. Like dental's competitive, guys. So that's an example, right? But I aim for 500 in general. Like one for every 500 emails I send, I get one positive reply. If for every 5 positive replies that I get one booked call. 20% booking rate. That's what I mean. It could be higher, but again, it could be lower if you have a lot of qualifications. So that's why it's like not black and white. It's like really a continuum, right? It's like, this is just like general guidelines. And at the end of the day, I believe, Paulson, you talked about this earlier. The only stat that truly matters is CAC, cost of acquisition. Like even if you don't hit these stats, guys, if your cost to acquire a client is good, don't worry about it. Just scale. Like send more emails. If you're not necessarily hitting these stats, as long as your cost of acquisition is good, you shouldn't, like, don't worry. Just go send more emails. Final quick notes. Sometimes your email accounts, guys, will get temporarily restricted. Even if you do everything perfectly, it's normal. It's like driving a car. Even if the car, you drive it perfectly, it still gets scratched. There's some bumps in the road. There's like things that happen. And when that happens, just so you know, you can typically go into Google Workspace and reinstate them. Sometimes you can't. And in that case, you just create a new account to replace the old one. If you do not follow the tips I gave today, considering spin tax, right? Having at least one custom value in your script, and the way that I warmed up the accounts and everything, the exact set of method I gave you, and I'm not trying to scare you guys, but your entire Google Workspace account can get banned, and your email accounts can get banned as well, and your domains can get what we call blacklisted, which means like the domain doesn't work anymore for sending emails. So a couple things. So make sure to follow everything. You can innovate on the script, but the setup, like Joel said earlier, do it exactly as I do it. Also have the expectation, guys, that cold email changes every couple months and years. Like 6 months ago, okay, a year ago, everybody used Zoho Mail to send out cold email. 6 months ago, they stopped. They literally said no more cold email. This method I showed you guys today, people have been using it for years, like Google Workspace. So it's been working for a very long time, but just have this expectation. Expectations are everything. And also, like Joel said, I believe earlier, the script I gave you will probably stop working eventually because everyone here will start using it. So it's working now. So, but you have to innovate. And this is the next thing. And the last thing, the ones who innovate win. You can copy paste, you're gonna get copy paste results, which are not bad. But if you want like great results, you got to do something a bit different. Don't have to reinvent the wheel, but like, yeah. This software is a great example of that.
Yeah, by the way, Christian, that was fantastic. You got through so much content, like almost 200 slides in like, I don't know, less than an hour. I'm pretty impressed, just in general. So there's two schools of thoughts that you all should think about. And I talk about this in our challenge, in our masterminds. By the way, if you're not coming to our February mastermind, you're gonna miss out. Come to Dallas ASAP. Tickets are about to be sold out. And Joel also will say this as well. There are two types of agency owners. There are the sales guys that are just really good at closing deals all day long. And then you have the tech folks that are good at building systems. If I were to pick a business partner, I know I'm better at sales. I will always find a business partner that's better at the tech. Eventually, you're going to have to choose the lane that matters best for you as an entrepreneur, as an agency owner, because things like this, I would pay someone to just set it all up for me and get out of the way, because even if I did it, I just don't trust myself in not skipping a step or making a screw up or whatever. So those of you that are watching, if you're overwhelmed, it's totally normal. Think about who you're going to be in your business. Are you going to be the salesperson or the tech person? And choose accordingly. Joel, what are your thoughts on
Next
some of the
steps?
things?
Well, Christian, you absolutely crushed it, man. That was insane. Honestly, you taught people how to do cold email in like an hour and a half, which is absolutely nuts. You give away the scripts, setups, the scaling, the scraping, everything. So guys, we were literally over delivering for you guys like none other. Like I told Paulson, my hope is to do the craziest 3-day workshop in the history of high level. So one thing though, so Paulson, our last guest speaker can't go tomorrow, so we're gonna cram it 30 minutes.
Okay.
Rapid fire.
How do y'all feel so far? We went through two massive business strategies and not just talked about it from a concept standpoint. We practically showed you exactly how to get it done. Give me a 1 in the chat if you have the brain power to just keep going for maybe 30 more minutes. And what we want to teach, if possible, is Instagram DMs at scale. I want to see the ones in the Facebook streaming. I don't see enough ones. Let me see here. How many of y'all are wanting us to keep going? And we'll take another 30 minutes. So we've been about 3 hours so far. So that's less than what we spent yesterday. So I feel good about keeping going. Okay. All right, cool. There's a ton of ones that just came in. Joel, let's just get rolling.
Awesome. For the last guest, I got a very, very special, incredible person, amazing entrepreneur. He is one of the coaches in Agency Lab. He's also our community manager. So he like manages all of our community, hypes everyone up. And he also has his own agency doing over $40,000 a month. And this guy is incredible at generating appointments through Instagram DMs. So he has an agency specifically on helping other businesses generate appointments through literally just messaging people on Instagram. Very simple, but very powerful. And today he's going to break it all down. Hopefully we can do it fast. We'll see how it goes. So with that in mind, again, incredible individual, amazing entrepreneur. And he's also just getting started. So I know that for a fact, he's going to be hitting 100K a month very, very soon. Without further ado, let's pass the ball off to Marcus Pizarro. What's up, Marcus?
Yo.
Marcus,
What's up,
welcome
Joel?
in, man. Good to
Hang
meet
in
you.
there, guys.
Can you give people a context on how many appointments you've set through DMs?
About 10,000. Just a little bit about me. So I ran a gym 8 years, and I solely use IG DMs to get my agency to 15, 20K. And now, actually I give credit to Joel. Last year, he gave me the idea of helping you guys out, get more appointments for your agencies in different niches from Cairo, solar, gyms, etc. Through IG, right? So I'm here to share with you everything that I've been doing in 2023 so you guys can take it in 2024 and leverage it with pay per show, go high level, and just simply scale your agency out. So I'm excited to share with you guys. Don't worry, I'm only going to take 20 minutes. As much as I love, Christian Aichu, it's not going to be as complicated as cold email. Just a little bit of things to make sure you don't ban yourself off, IG. And by the way, when I'm going to talk about IG, I'm also parallel to LinkedIn, to Facebook, right? It's the same thing. It's DM. So I'll be diving into that right now. So yeah, anything else you guys want me to do before we dive in?
No, I like what you said earlier. It's like, hang in there, guys. It's worth the pain. Hang in there. 3 hours in, it's better than an 8-hour session Joel wanted. Just FYI, there's so much to cover.
Absolutely. The funny thing is like, these owners, they're not checking their DMs every day. They're tired too. Like you guys are tired right now. And one of the things I'll go over in the DMs is you got to be in and out really quick. I call it no man's land, because they're not living there. And I'm going to show you what has helped me get their attention really fast, right? Just like fishing, right? Get a fish hooked on your bait and obviously reel them in as fast as you can. So obviously you can sell them on your great service. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, show you everything. So
thank you, Marcus. Just welcome him with a 1 in the comments, 1 in the streaming as a thank you or as a welcome to Marcus. Thank you,
appreciate it, guys.
Yep.
All right. So really quick, step by step, I'm going to first teach you the principles of DM outreach, overall outreach in general, when it comes to paid ads and stuff that will be applicable specifically with DMing. Okay. The second thing is how to set up IGDMs, right? It's not complicated, but you obviously want to do it right so you get the most out of it, so it's effective. The third thing is setting up your script and prospecting, and I'm so pumped to show you what I'm doing. In fact, after this, I will actually give you my course. Fun story. This is obviously go high level, so I'm going to give you it. You guys are obviously going to have it for free. Don't worry. Little story. I'm going to call out Joel, but I meant to give this to Joel in Agency Lab, but I just kept giving it to people in the coaching in Agency Lab. And I was like, wait, I might as well bring it to you guys right now. So I'm going to give it to you guys. Merry Christmas.
Let's go.
So
Nice.
you guys will have it. On top of that, I'll give you because part of scaling is leveraging virtual assistants and training them very well. I'm also going to give you my certification course that I give them so that they are
That's awesome.
prospecting and book appointment setters for you. So obviously you don't have to be in the trenches all day.
So you can
Instead,
literally pass this off.
yeah, you can really pass this off really fast. Little pro tip. In fact, a lot of people ask me
That's
this.
awesome. By the way, wait, that's huge, guys. So can we just take a moment to appreciate that? Because Marcus, that honestly is insane. Thank you, man.
Of course. Yeah, guys, I want to make sure you guys, do this well. And, I'm not going to kind of, I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole right here, but I'm Filipino. I want to give as many jobs as I can back to my country. So these guys are hardworking, help them help you. So I'm going to give you as much as I can possibly give. So you guys have team members working hard for your agency and scaling. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into it. So here are the frameworks really quick. Number one, let's kind of like you mentioned, Paulson, is, think of the origin of Facebook, of LinkedIn, of Instagram, right? Just like you said about TikTok and how it's disrupted how we watch videos now. These places are not to talk shop, maybe LinkedIn and Indeed, but Instagram and Facebook, you're here to connect with people that are like-minded, who are awesome, that you like, right? So the number one thing is to remind yourself to be conversational, right? I'm going to dive into scripts that's worked for me, but being direct hasn't been usually the best case. And there's ways to obviously start a conversation and actually help them be more friendly to you after cold outreach. The second thing, like we've always been saying, do more and do better, right? Volume is king. At the end of the day, you can have the best script, the best offer, etc. But if you're not doing enough, it don't matter. I can score more points than Steph Curry if I have 100 shots up and he only shoots 1 time. Trust me, I'm not that bad at basketball. Number one, as we always say, is innovate, right? And by the way, if you guys are curious, why the hell am I doing number one? I stole it from Gil Valeria, who got it from Tim Grover, his book called Winning. I don't want you guys thinking that the first thing is the most important thing. All of these are important, right? Whatever you need to focus on, it's the number one thing that you need to do, right? So where I left off is number one, be innovative, right? When I swear to God, there's like 600 people in here, almost 700 people in here. You guys will see the script. I need you guys to zag and not zig, guys. Everyone's going to use this script and it's going to make us look crazy, okay? So really innovate on top of this, but steal the frameworks. The fourth thing, Again, offer is 80% of your outreach game. If you have a bad offer, they ain't gonna book a meeting with you. Okay. So make sure you have a great offer. The fifth thing, be concise and upbeat. Again, imagine a bar setting. This is a bar setting, right? And I loved sharing this on my coaching calls. That Instagram, Facebook, most deals are done over a bar, right? Rather than a meeting room. Actually approach them very upbeat and concise, right? Be concise with your language. They're not going to read a 5 essay paragraph, right? Not even, an email length. So be concise, and I'll show you exactly what my script looks like. Second to last thing is, again, DMs is a no man's land. If you start asking them questions to try to qualify them, which you'll see how concise my script is, they're going to have to ask you questions back, or you're inviting them to ask questions like, what's the price? How much does this cost? What do you do? Right? So instead of that, just get them on a simple call, right? You guys will see my script, how I book them in if they aren't available for a call. And lastly, speed to lead is key. Again, they're not living in the DMs, just like they're not living in, emails. Call these guys right away when they show positive reply, right? So those are the frameworks to begin with, right? The mindset behind this. So now I want to share with you how to set up IGDM. It's pretty simple and pretty quick to get this set up. Literally, you guys can do this today and start doing DMing. It's that fast. So number one is you want to get 3 to 4 age accounts. If you guys are curious how many DMs you can send possibly per account, it's 50 DMs per day per account to new prospects. But I like emails. You have to ramp it up. So start by doing only 15, then every 3 or 4 days, ramp it up by 5. So do 20, then 25, then 30, et cetera, all the way up to 50, right? So where I go currently to get aged accounts is I go to bulk accounts by these guys are aged and verified, right? Just get the aged Instagram accounts from 2011 or 2012 to 2016. And some of them actually have 1,000 followers already. Now, if you want to get more because maybe you have 500 followers, no worries. I go to buzzoid.com. That's where I buy likes and followers. Now, if you guys are curious, what is your prospecting page looking like, right? Number one, you don't want to make them, agencylab.io. You don't want to make them PK Media Seattle, my company, right? Now, unless you go high level where everyone knows you and they trust you, that's awesome. But we don't have that kind of authority to throw around in the beginning, right? And for our agency. So what we do is we make team member accounts, right? So what we do is we make team member accounts. They can be named Ashley, Andrew, David. And there's 2 reasons why. One is, and I'm totally going to just say the truth, I use female accounts like Ashley, Rebecca, Angeli, right? They get a 3x reply than my name, Joel's name, Paul. It's messed up, man.
So
the world we
the
live in.
females have a competitive advantage in this domain.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. 3x reply rate. You should see the roofers. I'm joking. But anyways, so we use team member accounts for not only the reply rate, but also because when they show a positive reply, we're able to say, hey, that's awesome. I can actually connect you with our CEO, Joel Kaplan, for a quick 10, 15-minute chat to give you more info. Would you like me to connect you with him? And it's kind of reverse gatekeeping. It's actually giving you authority as a step up because your team member is guarding your time, right? It would be weird if Joel Kaplan literally reached out to you as an agency owner, right? So if someone was inviting you to actually sit down and talk to Joel, that would be pretty legit and cool, right? So that's how you set it up really fast. Again, start with 15 to 20, prospects per account. That should get you roughly 80 to 100 at the very start, and then you ramp it up. I just realized that's a copy and paste. All right. So I'm going to just share with you the KPIs really fast. Again, minimum over time while you warm up things, do 100 messages a day, minimum. I'll tell you, I'm literally doing 500 to 800 DMs right now a day.
That's total, not per account, right?
Yes, that's correct. Total, not per account. Again, 50 new messages per day per account when it's warmed up correctly. Now, typically out of 100, just for the sake of math and conversions here, you typically want to see 8 to 15 replies. Kind of like what Christian actually said, 10 minutes ago. It really will depend on your niche, the timing of things. Like right now, I'll be honest, dentistry is harder to get in front of with the dentist versus a gym owner who probably handles their own, page, right? But typically,
I would say there are definitely easier and harder niches for Instagram DMs. Like you have to ask yourself, where does my niche hang out? Like realtors are on Instagram all day long. A dentist is busy with his patients. He's not like checking his Instagram nonstop. Whereas a med spa, right, who's doing more like visual stuff might be posting more, right, and engaging more on Instagram. So it just depends.
Yeah, we call it the aesthetic niches that are very sensitive to aesthetic branding.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like fitness is one of those.
Yeah, like if they
Yeah.
use Instagram a lot, they're gonna be on Instagram more. So
Keep going, Mark.
exactly.
Yep.
Now, let me go ahead and backtrack and actually show you how to get in front of these prospects in your industry. So for example, one of my favorite ways is using hashtags. The reason why is because one, these people are showing that they are invested in making social media work and getting them leads for the garage, for the clinic, for their gym, right? So I love using hashtags. You can try and search up different hashtags in your industry that might work. For example, car detailing, maybe car detailing owner. For me in gyms, PT Studio got me in front of so many qualified gyms that had personal trainers under them because they are a studio, right? That's why I searched it up. The other way is like Christian Naichu said, which is through a list, right? You can go ahead and scrape a list like D7 Lead Finder, and I'll actually give you their Instagram right off the bat. So you definitely can get, you know, a list for your paid ads, like like Isaac Rubel said, Christian Naichu for cold email, and of course, like I'm sharing with you, DMing, and also Facebook and LinkedIn too. That's how powerful D7 is. The third, and this really is dependent on your niche, are famous pages that people follow, right? So for example, with gyms, and what worked for me were meme pages. A lot of gym owners and personal trainers would slack off watching memes off their favorite meme pages. And I would actually just engage with them and say, hey, that was funny, wasn't it? Right. And again, that's the framework, being conversational, right? Just connecting about something that they absolutely love. And that helped me a lot when with on top of hashtags, lists, and then also finding them on pages. There's multiple ways like Google Maps, right? You can definitely do that too. Now, the moment you guys have all been waiting for patiently, let me show you the script. This has literally been the script I've been using for, gosh, I would say a year now, but it has evolved over 5 years, right? So I'm sharing with you what has been probably like script 5.0. So there's 3 phases into this. One is starting the conversation, getting your foot through the door and starting the conversation. Again, what's funny is I love using dating analogies when it comes to literally sliding into people's DMs. That's why I call it that way. Number one is having a conversation starter, right? Getting them to reply back to you. The practical thing about this is that with Facebook and Instagram, you actually are landing in their message request. You're actually not landing in their primary or even generals channel, right? You're actually landing in their request. So what you got to do is engage with them and get them to reply back. Once they reply back, it's fair game. You can hit them up as many times as you want. So the second thing is transitioning to your offer. Again, be concise, get in, get out. Once they're hooked, then you book them in or give them a call right away if you have time. So let me go in and show you an example of how to engage with people, right? Sure, we know we need to like their posts or give them a comment, but many people, I swear to God, I see this all the time. They're just saying, hey, sent you a DM, right? Hey, check your DMs, right? People who are editors, graphic designers, not just agency owners, are saying that, and they don't have time to check 10 DMs a day, right? So what I do and what I've trained my VAs to do is be more personal, right? The most powerful thing, if I can share with you guys, is being more personal with your messaging and doing it at scale. When you can compare quality and quantity, it is a powerful outreach system. Those doesn't even just have to be DMs. It could be email too. Now, what I do, and you guys can take the script too, is I say, I love this video or I love this reel. I also like the one you posted about, if I was in gyms, I would say, you know, the 5 bicep exercise to add an inch before summer. I'm definitely going to do number 5. By the way, and then we just go ahead and use this same line. By the way, I sent you a message, would love to connect, though it might have landed in your request, right? We're just politely saying, hey, I tried to reach out to you. I don't know if you got it, right? And after being friendly, a lot of people would take the effort to, you know, see your message, right? Because sometimes they might think that you're a customer. They might think that you're really interested in maybe becoming a client of theirs or, you know, a job if you're a roofer. Then that's where, if they haven't replied back, you can go in there in another post and say, hey, awesome content as usual. You know, did you get my last message? It might be stuck there forever, right? And here's the thing. depending on your niche, you need to vibe with them. So maybe this might not vibe, with a lawyer, right? There's certain follow-ups that would work. Like, I'll go as far as to say, I used to try this one where when I was talking to gym owners being super casual, I would say, this person was ghosting me, like literally ghosting me. I was like, wow, this is how it feels when my ex left me. And that guy cracked up. Like, he literally sent me a voice memo, said, hey, bro, you're funny.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And he was like, hey, I'll hop on a call with you to honestly talk about your love life and also how you can help me. Like, I was happy. Like, that was so funny. But would that work with lawyers? Maybe. I mean, it's human psychology, right? Just being different, but it definitely was allowed me to be different. Right.
I would even make it even more conversational. Like, this messaging is very formal. I would make it seem like you're texting a friend.
Exactly.
Like, this is very formal. I would just be like, yo, John, even, or like, it's going to throw them off. It's going to be like, okay, this is just someone trying to connect with me. Like, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Test it out.
Couple of
Sure.
questions, Marcus. Do you ever use reactions features to get in the inbox? Like, let's say you have a stranger and you watch their story because they have a public profile and you like drop like a fire reaction, because if they like respond to that, that automatically puts you into the regular inbox, right?
Yeah, that definitely works. And especially one of the things I want to warn people, this is a new policy that Instagram has made, is when you start copy and pasting your comments, this is why we do personalize in the first place, it'll flag it as a spam, or it'll protect the community from, you not following its guidelines, right? Another way to also, have that, change in how you engage with people is replying to people's stories and going into their stories and replying back. Because here's the thing, what most people do is they'll go into the notifications, see who's engaging with people, and kind of a sidetrack here, but the reason why I love hashtags is because it shows recent posts. And obviously people love seeing how their post is doing, right, that same day. And if you go in there, post on their recent posts, they're going to see all the people engaging. And when they see your comment, they're going to click on your profile, right? And they'll be, checking you out for 1 to 3, seconds, right, to make sure you look legit. And then they'll see the DMs, right? So yes, to just give you that short answer, they can see who's replying or engaging with their stories.
Got it. Thank you, man. Let's get back to DMs, the DM itself. Yeah. So
Now, yeah, of course. Now we get into the DMs, right? And there's multiple ways we can go about this, but the ultimate thing is you want to have a conversational opener, right? The only way you can screw this up is by making it super confusing, super long, or you don't come off as authentic and you're using something that's, been overused, abused, right? I mean, the funny one was when I was working with Tony Lee in car detailing, was hey, is this the best place to ask a question, right? And literally everyone after that YouTube video went out, literally tried to use that, and everyone, like, every car detailer was like, no thanks. And they didn't even know what the offer was, right? It's like, imagine going up to a girl and using the same pickup line. They're going to get tired of it. They're going to get tired of you. So you got to differentiate yourself. So that's where you can come in and ask a different question, or again, be more personal with it and say, hey, just saw your page, like what you're doing, especially that bicep workout you showed, keep it up, right? Just really compliment them. It only takes 10 seconds for you or your virtual assistant to do, right? And then once they reply back, right, like, hey, yeah, we've owned our business for 5 years. Oh yeah, we're taking on more jobs. We're taking on more ceramic coatings, right? And here's a cool thing. You can use multiple different ways. There's multiple different ways to personalize your message. Like, say, hey, I'm just curious, are you booked out this entire holiday season, or do you have openings, right? Are you guys booked out already in January? I can imagine the fitness business being super busy. And they're like, hey, no, I have more spots available. Are you looking to come in? They might think you're a customer, but at the same time, they're raising your hand saying, hey, I need more clients, right? That's where you can transition to your offer and sound super conversational. We just low-key say, awesome, we're actually looking to partner with, in this case, one home renovation company in Dallas. Again, keep it personalized. We'll bring you, and then this is where your offer comes in. We'll actually bring you 7 to 8 jobs, right, within 14 days, and you only pay us when they show or when they have a sit down with you. And that's where the pay-per-show offer is so compelling, because they actually see that you're really to show the proof of concept in this. And then simply just asking them like, hey, would you be interested in me showing you how this actually works for other home renovation companies, right? If you have clients already. If you don't, you can just simply say, hey, would you be interested in seeing how this works? Or do you know another renovation company in Dallas that would need this? And most times they're not going to pass up an opportunity like that. They're going to raise their hand and say, hey, heck yeah. And that's where you can go ahead and call them right there, right? Or you can go ahead and book them in, right? And actually have them meet with the CEO, right? My strategy with the whole team member account. Here are just some other follow-up paths that you can take, right? Just again, keep it conversational. Just say, hey, what's up? Doing good. Hey, name. You can drop a funny GIF, right? I showed one to gym owners where it was like, I miss my workout partner, and they would get the joke, right? Right. This is what it feels to be ghosted, right? Did you get my last message? I guess life got the best out of you. Shoot me a text, right? These different lines you can test out, see what works in your industry. Another thing that actually I want to share and give a shout out to Joel. He actually has it in his ClickFunnels course 7FA. You can actually do a whole follow-up sequence with testimonials, just hammering. It's like, hey, I don't know.
By the way, that was made before High Level existed. So
really,
yeah. So that's why I was on that platform. But
that's
Paulson said every time we say those two words, we get punished. So
No, I didn't.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
hey,
yeah,
I'll
this is from many, many years ago.
But Marcus,
Amazing.
what kind of follow-ups do you set up? And like, what is too much? Like, I mean, do we do like 10 to 12 touch points like other, channels, or is it like leave them alone if they don't reply?
Yeah, that's a great question. Follow-up is key. Follow-up is key before, if they're not in your ecosystem yet, meaning they're not in Go High Level, keep following up with these guys, right? These guys, believe me, they get hit up, depending on your niche, 5 times a day or 5 times a week, whatever. They forgot about you, right? Just keep hitting them up, right? Hey, what's up? Doing good. Hey, I hope everything's all right. Hey, I know it's the holiday season. Did I catch you at a bad time? Right? You just be polite about it. You just be friendly, right? You don't try to be salesy, right? And what I would do practically is follow up with them if you can 1 time a day or once every day. So if I hit you up, Paulson, on Monday, I would follow up with you until say Friday. And then I would maybe come back Monday and show you different testimonials. So like, hey, I know it's a busy time, for you and focusing on your clinic. I just wanted to show you what Dr. Kim did to get more appointments going into 2024, right? And you just literally hammer them with so many testimonials. They'll actually watch it and they'll be like, okay, you're legit. Show me what's up. Right.
One of the sorry, I didn't mean to cut you up. One of the trends that are happening with a lot of agencies now is we built a prospecting tool inside of High Level that allows you to identify in a local area which companies don't have a web chat or a website or Yelp or GMB or Instagram or any of these channels. Because what you can do in a DM is like, hey, I know we don't really know each other, but I ran a test with with my systems checker, and I just want to send you a report. And you can literally do it instantly, where it just shows the traffic they have, how they don't have a web chat, how their Instagram is not collected in one place. And that's like literally inside High Level that you can just shoot out a report. Just FYI, that's like all pretty new, like a month in.
That's fire. That is fire. I mean, if one of you guys came up to me and you do SEO and you're like, Marcus, you're on the 5th page of Google. What are you doing, man? I'm definitely gonna, give you at least 5 to 10 minutes so I can see what I can do better. Right. So that's fire. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, it's not even just SEO checker. It's literally like web chat, GMB, bunch of different things. Like even if they don't have their Facebook account integrated into like a system, it'll tell them, hey, you don't have a unified inbox. And it's like a full report that shoots out like a fancy PDF that you can email or just send as a doc.
That's fire. That's absolutely fire, man.
Yeah, brand new stuff inside High Level. Anyways, once the prospect is interested, what do you do?
If you can, give them a call right away. If not, go ahead and use this strategy where you connect them with yourself, the founder, or have the VA for you, right? I personally, honestly, I don't even know why this is here. I don't like to drop my link. The reason why, and what I've tested over thousands of different messages, is when you leave people to their own devices, they will put it on the back of their agenda. They'll go back to work, they'll forget about it. You're gonna have to play catch up, and now you have to do extra follow-up, right? What I like to do, and just keep it casual, just drop down your best availabilities. Here's a quick example. Can we schedule the call for tomorrow at 8 a.m. PST, right? Whatever their time zone is. Just make time zone math actually makes a difference. Just give it to them in their time zone, right? If they say, hey, that works, sounds good, really quick, what's your best email and phone number to book us in? And by the way, right, if you're using Go High Level, just simply give them your number. The reciprocity bias is huge here, just so that they can trust you. It's like, hey, by the way, just so you know, when I call you, it's 206, and then your rest of the number, so that they can trust you. If you don't know who they're going to speak with, because sometimes you guys might get in front of the gatekeeper or the manager, just go ahead and ask them really fast, like, hey, what's the name of the person I'll be speaking with, to really share how we can help you guys get more patients in your clinic. Oh, it's Dr. Kim. Okay, cool. Right. And then just let them know politely that you booked them in. Right. And one of the greatest things outside of this is send them a pre-call page, right? That's where you can kind of help them understand a little bit more about you. Like, hey, just so you know who the heck we are, because I know I reached out to you and I saw that you were in Dallas. Here's a case studies page, so that, you guys have a better understanding about what we do, who we helped, etc. Right. And that obviously increases show up rate and the nurturing. So at the bottom of here, right, there's different ways to handle objections or people saying no. Right. I don't want to dive into it too much, but the ultimate thing is when they ask you guys price, hold a custom frame, or better yet, just call them right away. That shows that, that actually shows that they're interested. Right. That actually shows that they're interested. But yeah, those are the top things. Like if they say no, you can definitely just say, hey, okay, no worries. Do you know another, chiropractor in Dallas that would love 20 to 50,000 in their bottom line revenue? They're gonna be like, oh, I didn't know that's what you meant. Oh, okay, right. So you can get them back on track to being interested. Another thing I used to do back in the day when I had time, and guys, I actually want to share, if you guys have 0 clients, the number one thing that you guys can leverage is your own time. Please personalize your lines, make a personal video. Literally say, hey, what's up, Joel? My name is Marcus. I'm owner of PK Media. I actually saw that you're a chiropractor and I'm looking to partner with someone in Dallas. I wanted to make this personal video so I'm not using a virtual assistant. Like, leverage that. That will help you stand out. When you can stand out, that allows them to trust you a lot more and be like, wow, you actually took time to make this video. I'll definitely give you 5 minutes of my time to see how you can help. So that is the script right there. Again, it's not that complicated. It's 3 things. Again, I'm going to use the dating analogy. I'm really good with dating analogies as well. Approach the girl, have a different hook, get them interested with something that they want, that they like, and then book them in, ask them out. In other words, get their phone number, right? That's why we call it sliding into your DM. All right. So that is the script right there. Really quick, I want to show you examples of this actually in play. So Joel asked me like, hey, can you show some examples of this working, right? So here's an example. Here's a dog training agency, right? Here is us literally using is this the best place to ask a question, right? Again, it hasn't been used so much in dog training. They said, hi, how can I help? We actually go into the script literally and use the exact same thing, but for the agency owner's offer, right? Asking them if they're interested, right? And literally, look, she's saying, hey, how about a call tomorrow? She's the one asking if we can get on the call, right? She's the one giving the number, right? It's really that easy. I hate to say it that way, but people need your help. You just got to be friendly. You just got to be different, right? Let me show you. Let's see here.
Can you, before you go further into details real quick, Marcus, can you help us understand the structure of what happens? So like, are these messages getting pounded into your Slack channel? How are the virtual assistants alley-ooping those dunks to you? Like, what does that structure look like?
That's perfect. That's actually a perfect point right here. So whenever they book a meeting, right, the number one thing is to make sure it's reflected on the owner's calendar. Obviously, the last thing you want to do is no-show someone that you didn't know. So this is what I have my appointment setter say, right? The date and time that they're meeting, the account that we use, right? If it was a girl account, I would say Kaylin Parker. So I can go on that intro call and say, hey, I saw that you spoke to my team member, Kaylin, over Instagram. She might have approached you about how we can help your dog training company get more clients. Does that ring a bell? Yeah. Okay, awesome. And then continue with your script, right? The information, if you want to do your diligence, right, especially if you're doing SEO or website, you definitely want to ask for their website and see how they rank on, Google, their websites. So you can go in there and already do an audit. And then, of course, dropping the screenshots of the conversation. So you have context of, maybe they asked 2 times, like, what's the price? What's the cost? What do you do? Might be prepared. They might bring it up, right? So that allows you, and of course, showing that it's actually booked on none other than Go High Level. So, and then of course, have them drop your EODs, because at the end of the day, you need to track your own numbers, whether it's paid ads, cold email, right, with Instantly. For me, right, I just keep track of new messages sent, how many follow-ups were also sent, positive replies, and then intros booked, right? So you can see Angelica here, and Ace.
And those are your actual virtual assistants. So from a ratio standpoint, about 150 or maybe above 100 messages at least to get to maybe 5 total positive DMs on an average, right? So that means at scale, you need to be sending out for your sales team. If you want 20 appointments a day because you're excited and want to get an appointment setter, their calendars need to be full. Otherwise, you're going to lose appointment setters. You're going to lose closers because there's no activities happening around your offer. So know those numbers so you understand how to ramp up. So if you want to get 100 appointments a week, which is kind of average in a standard, very growing agency, Instagram just becomes maybe 20-30% of the total traffic flow, where another 40% is, cold ads, another or warm ads, and then another 30-40% is cold email. You need to have omnipresent approach as an agency to grow in 2024. It's not one thing or another. It's checking off that box with multiple things, so you're not just battling in one front of the battle. Marcus, anything else that you?
I do advise everyone though, Paulson. Always, this is my philosophy. Start with one, master one before you add a new channel.
Correct.
So pick out of all I wanted to give you guys 3 different strategies, full breakdown, step by step, how to implement 3 different complete strategies for getting appointments and acquiring clients going into 2024. By the way, the reason I got a little quieter towards the second half is because I wanted to make sure everyone got through. So it's like, let me just let them go and not chime in as much. But tomorrow we have 2 more days left together. So don't worry, you'll get plenty of, we'll have plenty of time to hang out. That being said, my philosophy is start with one prospecting channel, master it. Then ask yourself 2 questions. How can I do more and do it better? Until you feel like you've maxed that out. You're like, Joel, I'm sending out cold emails to everyone in my niche once a week. And it's really dialed in. It's very, very good. Okay, once that's done, add Instagram DMs. The only reason to maybe experiment with multiple at once is if you're not sure which one you want to go all in on just yet. So if you're like, hey, I'm going to do a small test for all 3 or 2 of them just to see what I like a little bit more, that's totally fine. But once you pick one, you need to go all in and really commit to it and figure out how to do more and better before adding new, more and better before adding new. Once you've maxed out doing more and doing it better, then add new. Marcus, that was insane. Thank you so much. Guys,
thank you, man.
If you
Appreciate it.
One last plug. If you guys haven't signed up for High Level, we do have an amazing offer, which lined up perfectly with this 3-day workshop, 50% off your first 3 months with High Level. If you guys already have High Level, then good. If not, I wasn't going to let you guys come tomorrow. Just kidding. You guys can still come tomorrow. But if you guys do want all the snapshots we've shared, if you want, the course from Marcus, all that stuff, definitely make sure you have a High Level account. Besides that, we covered so far. Yesterday we covered, let's do a quick recap, and then we'll finish off for today. So quick recap. Yesterday we covered the entire pay-per-show model step by step. Then we covered how to actually get results for clients for 2 niches, Chiro and roofing. Then today we went over 3 different strategies end to end, giving you guys absolutely everything step by step that you need to acquire clients. Cold email, Instagram DMs, and paid ads. Isaac Rubel absolutely over-delivered, give you guys everything. Christian Achu absolutely over-delivered and gave you guys everything. And Marcus Pizarro absolutely over-delivered and just gave you guys everything that you need. Literally, he's also giving you an entire additional course, breaking it down in more detail, although he just did an amazing job breaking it down from a high level. And he's giving you guys access to a course that you can share with your team members to get them certified in this process so that they could just do it on your behalf. Now, tomorrow, now that you guys know how to get clients results, now that you guys know how to get appointments, as part of the acquisition, tomorrow is going to be all sales. So I'm going to be bringing on my business partner, Sergio Tavares, 8-figure entrepreneur. He's closed millions and millions and millions of dollars in sales. He had his own agency that he scaled to over $300,000 a month. And now he runs Agency Lab with me. And he's going to be breaking down everything that you need to know for sales, from the intro call all the way to the demo presentation. We're going to give everything away as always. So make sure to tune in tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Let's make this the greatest workshop of high-level history ever. So
I think, you know, what's crazy to me is like when we planned this out, the guys were like, really? We really want to run like a 6-hour session? And I'm like, well, let's just see what happens with the crowd. And it's crazy to still know we've got well over 1,000+ people watching between the Zoom as well as the streaming. So I think people are loving it. If you totally have appreciated everything we've shared, give us a 1 in the Facebook group streaming comments, because I want to make sure Joel feels the love. Last night, he was texting me. He's like, hey, do they love everything I'm sharing? I feel like I'm giving away the farm, but at the same time, I'm not really sure. And I'm like, Joel, I'm telling you, they're just trying to figure out what to do.
I just want the love.
He needs to feel the love, y'all. Like, he's gonna give away more stuff, and we can convince him to maybe even give away a massive agency somehow. Just kidding, but
yeah, I mean, at this point, I'll give away my house, my Tesla.
We'll see you guys tomorrow, 12 o'clock EST as usual. We still got 2 more days to go. We're only halfway. And imagine the amount of things. Sales is going to be unbelievable. I personally know Sergio. He's a great friend, someone that I respect in the sales space. And it's like when sales guys know sales guys, there's like a different jive. And Sergio and I are one of those where we love each other's angles and content. So Sergio's going to be awesome. So tune in tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and end the call and wish me good luck that Zoom recordings don't crash. Give us a few days to get those replays up. Once again, this is your last chance to jump into this offer so you can get all the snapshots, all the courses. I feel like there's like 10 courses now between all the experts that we brought on.
No, there's more.
There's more than 10. So, and by the way, Joel sells these things for like thousands of dollars on an annual.
Well, no, I get. I just to be clear, I about a year and a half to actually after the 10-day workshop, I started giving everything away for free. It's just incredible. That it's become impossible to literally give away all the courses on YouTube, because that would be like endless amounts of videos on YouTube that are kind of unorganized. So what I did for you guys is I organized all of the best content in one place where you just click and create one login and boom, you have access to everything. So
yeah,
it's interesting. My business model shifted from charging for the information to now saying, hey, I'm going to give everything away for free. If you want to work with me, you can either hire me for consulting or I'll run your agency ad. So we also do have an agency for agencies, but all the information is free. However, you guys get it all in one place, easy to access.
Thank you guys. Make sure you comment 1 in the streaming so Joel and his entire team feels the love. They're spending 4 or 5 hours these days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, to really deliver to you. And honestly, they're busy people. They've got plenty of things to do. Make sure you put a 1 in the chat and make sure he feels the love. Again, to jump into that offer, it's 50% off for the first 3 months on any plan, which is the same thing as our holiday offer that's happening right now. But if you do it under the workshop link, you get all the courses and snapshots and all those things that Joel's giving you completely for free, along with the experts that he brought on from his team and strategic partnerships that also over deliver. So anyways, Without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and close the call. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys.